Good day, everybody. Everybody hear me okay? Sound good? Well, I got some raw chicken today, so I'm getting pretty hungry, so it's gonna be a little different stream. I've never had raw chicken before. You guys are gonna get to see me eat it for the first time in my life. About 20 months into raw primal, and I've had just a variety of different foods, raw foods and stuff like that. But I haven't had raw chicken yet because I haven't really had a chance to find like a good source. So here it is right here. I gotta say, when I was chopping this up, I got a whole chicken. When I was chopping this stuff up, this stuff looked really good. A little bit of bone in that piece. But it looks really good, man. I'm surprised I haven't tried this yet. I just haven't had like a good whole chicken in my hands with a knife and cutting the meat off. And when you cut that meat off of there, it looks really delicious, man. So let's check it out, see what it's all about. Yeah, that's nothing. That's good. Very good, but I don't know what everybody's all afraid of. That's nothing, man. Very good. I gotta say, I like this stuff. I'm gonna try to work some more white meat into my diet. No homo. And after the whole getting educated on iron overload and all that stuff, I do believe that is it's a fair thing to be concerned about for a small population of people, but it's also just a reminder that there's a lot of different types of meat out there that you can eat. You can eat white meat, you can eat fish. You don't have to always eat beef all the time. And old Ogenus has a lot of good things to say about white meat. So, what's up, Brandon White, Mr. Scowl, Collapse Aesthetics? How you guys doing? Brandon White says, curious to see you try the chicken. I'm gonna go to sleep shortly though. Yeah, it's been good so far. Ogenus Archive, what's up, man? Swallow those chunks, don't chew much. Yeah, you're right. I chewed that last one because I wanted to really like get the flavor of chicken, but I'll probably swallow it like I do beef. It's interesting how it looks different, like you can see almost through it. It's interesting. Chicken really, Isaac says, what does chicken taste like? It doesn't really taste like much, man. I don't find raw meat doesn't really have much of a flavor to it. Not much of a taste. It's hard to say. It's really hard to describe. Kai Solace, you saw that Haleman got hospitalized, right? Yeah. I've seen a video where he completely trashed all of Ogenus's work, and he said his book was completely bullshit. So I have about as much respect for that dude as I do Frank Tufano at this point. So I'm probably I don't want to talk about that dude. So it's unfortunate he got sick, but I really don't care to talk about it. Autogenous archive. I have been eating red meat for the first 9 months, almost exclusively. Was anemic. Been eating birds this month, and my sleep is insanely good. I start to have naps during the day that give energy. Interesting, man. So you've been experimenting with some bird too, eh? Yeah, I don't know why I was so resistant to chicken. I guess I wanted to get really comfortable with like beef and stuff like that first. You know what I'm saying? And I guess you could say that I never really felt like I craved chicken, so that's why I never went after it. But maybe I'll start craving it now that I have it. You know what I'm saying? I guess you have to probably get a taste of it first. Collapse Aesthetics says why chew less. I heard it's because your like oral microbiome, if you get too much of that on the meat, it can interfere with your natural stomach acids, which is very interesting. And it actually, I intuitively never chewed my beef, so um, it just goes in line with everything that I've experienced and just kind of intuitively done. And I've never had an issue with not chewing this stuff. It's actually, it seems really natural just to swallow in whole chunks. Hero Diamond says that's what happens when you don't read the manuals. Haleman just twisting words. He was saying that Optimus didn't believe in bacteria and parasites. Clearly, he's illiterate. Yeah. At this point, I think that dude's like a pretty big troll. So he's not even really worth like really giving my time and effort. You know what I'm saying? Brandon White, LMAO, he trash talks Autogenous' diet and then gets hospitalized on his own. It speaks for itself, guys. Kai Solace, wild animals do not chew meat. Some people use that as their reasoning for not chewing much. Makes sense, but also dogs have like a stomach acid that's 50 times stronger than ours, so you can't always use animals as examples for stuff, but it does lend itself some truth. You know what I'm saying? It's not all bullshit just because they're animals, but you can do some fair comparisons there, and you can learn from animals for sure. Because we have a lot of things in common, but I don't believe we are animals. I think we're a little bit more than animals. So, and obviously we're like designed differently, but for the most part, you can learn a lot from animals. Brandon White, your saliva is alkaline. Meat needs an acidic digestive environment. Interesting. Guys, this chicken is freaking good, man. I can't believe I waited this long to eat chicken. Wow. I wonder what it's going to do to my health. This is like an entirely different like variety of things in here than compared to beef, you know what I'm saying? Whoops. I'm glad you guys are having fun on that Discord, man. I popped in today. That's really cool. That's working out good. Any way that we can, expand out and find more ways to connect always helps. I wonder what this is going to make me feel like. Ooh, there's a little bone in there. I'll give that to my dog. My dogs have like supersonic hearing. If anything hits the ground, they should be able to hear it. But I gave them each, if you check my Instagram, my boss unloaded this freezer and it had like 16-year-old meat in it. And I looked at it and it looked okay. And I took it out of the package today, smelled it, smelled fine. So I gave my dogs each like a 16-ounce steak today. And they ate the shit out of it, man. And they're fine. They ate it like 5 hours ago, no digestive problems. So apparently 16-year-old frozen meat is fine for you. Bet you guys didn't know that. Brandon White, we secrete more hydrochloric acid in our intestines than animals like dogs. Overall, the hydrochloric acid is about the same. That makes sense. So theirs is more intense, but we secrete more of it, huh? This chicken's giving me kind of like a different type of energy here. It's interesting. It's good to get chicken again. Not only have I not eaten raw chicken in 2 years, I haven't eaten chicken in 2 years, man. And I used to eat the shitload of chicken. Hero Diamond says dogs and cats can digest more meat than we do, while we do better with eggs and milk. Since in the wild we can learn where birds nest and can find them daily. Hunting is harder than getting eggs. That makes sense. Yeah. I've been thriving on eggs and milk, man. Like, eggs and milk is the shit. It's the shit, man. Like, I have raw milkshakes in the morning. And then for lunch, I'm having like a racquetball or tennis ball size chunk of cheese with half a quart of milk and 3 eggs. But I drink a quart of milk in the morning now with my raw milkshake. So I'm at a half a gallon of milk a day. So I've completely upped my milk and my eggs. I'm at 9 eggs a day and half a gallon of milk a day. That's taking place or substituting for the 1 pound of beef I was eating. So, and I'm finding that I'm feeling a lot better. I quit lifting weights. I quit running. I quit exercising completely. But I am like on my feet now about 8 hours a day. So I get all my exercise through basically walking around for 8 hours a day. And then I also do some actually like pretty heavy lifting at my job now. Like every once in a while I have to lift these like gigantic like steel door frames, like huge like 8-foot door frames and stuff like that. So it's a fairly decent primal workout, lifting stuff, holding it over my head, walking, putting it down, stuff like that. I'm really enjoying my new job position, man. It's like much better than being like in an office in a chair, which I can do, but I'm really enjoying being on my feet, lifting stuff, that type of shit, And I'm gonna be I'm basically in a management position, but I still work. Brandon White says it's amazing how you can still be making amazing discoveries 2 years in that'll improve your health further. Isn't that wild? It's mind-blowing how long it takes to get this stuff down, And it's mind-blowing how deep this tunnel goes. You know what I'm saying? Like when you first discover this diet, you dig and you dig and you dig, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this. That's why you guys are probably on my stream, because you guys are in this tunnel with me, you know what I mean? Like we're deep into this tunnel and you can just keep going in, man. It's like amazing. I'm hoping not at the end of this tunnel it's like drinking your pee and eating poop and stuff, because I'm not into that. But I know Ajahn has talked about like primitive tribes doing stuff like that. So I'm praying that that's not at the end of this tunnel. But Miko Savage, Haleman said Ajah's diet made him sick from parasites. He's a complete troll. Yes, definitely. Brandon White says Haleman has never followed Ajah's diet. Yeah, that's what I've gathered from it too. But it's, whatever, man. I'm not surprised. There's so many trolls on YouTube. It's like, oh, what do you know? Another gamma. That's a big surprise. Hero Diamond, I was on my friend's podcast yesterday and he told me this theory. He said that actually it's easier to get eggs, and that's likely what people did. It makes sense. Chickens just crap the eggs out. You don't have to do anything, Ajah's Archive. Ajah's recommended going 2 to 3 day egg milk feast every month. Only simple to digest foods. He did recommend that, huh? Yeah, see? 2 years into this and I still don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But you can always like perfect it. You can keep perfecting it. I wonder if like being a perfectionist is a part of this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys can relate to that. Let me know if you can relate to that. But I guess I've always been like a perfectionist. I've always I never settle for, if I'm doing something, I can never settle unless it's like perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if that's what's happening with a lot of us on this diet. Like we discover this diet and we start noticing that you can keep like honing in and tuning in and perfecting it and perfecting it. And I don't know. I just wonder if that's a part of the personality that draws people in to this stuff. Kai Solis, I've heard before that our stomach acid composition is comparable to that of vultures, suggesting we could potentially digest rancid, spoiled meat without issue. It sure seems that way, man. The more stuff I just throw down the hatch and have zero issues with, it's like, what couldn't I eat? You know what I mean? I've eaten raw brains. I've eaten raw brains and never had an issue. It's like, you can eat the weirdest shit. Hero Diamond, meat is good as long as it doesn't get freezer burn, aka go through necrosis. The same process it goes through when cooked. Yeah, the only thing I noticed with the meat, the 16-year-old meat, was that it had slightly discolored, like it was less red, you know, like it had lost some nutrients. But you know, other than that, I gave it a good smell, gave it a good look. It wasn't green and it wasn't black. That's the things I look for when it comes to meat you shouldn't eat. Green and black are typically not foods that you want in nature, you know what I'm saying? Brandon White, dogs and cats digest meat slightly faster than us, but we can eat more than them. Interesting. French Carnivore, welcome back. Hero Diamond, I give my kitten a piece of chicken. She kills it, but she only takes a couple sips of raw milk at a time. Interesting. When we were growing up, we used to give our cats tuna, and they would freak out over tuna. So it's interesting getting on this diet and then like having memories like that come back in my mind of my mom just cracking that can of tuna, and my cat would just start meowing and rubbing on her legs and stuff. And now I know why that cat just freaked out over tuna, man. We were eating it, giving him these little like bowls of kibble. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if I can move this box down a little bit. There we go. KP says, glad to see a stream. Yeah, it's been a long time. I've just been busy as hell, guys. Got to save up that money for that little homestead, you know what I'm saying? Got to sacrifice a couple live streams in order to bring you guys some probably pretty awesome content coming up here in the next couple years. So I definitely want to have like my own chickens, my own goats, and I mean, the sky's the limit, man. You know, I like to get creative with stuff, so, and I don't like to limit myself, so we'll see how it all works out. Beyond me, good evening, sir. Good evening to you. Ike, what about juicing? You know, it takes a lot of effort as it is to do what I do here, like to just accomplish what I've already accomplished. And so I try to just slowly add things as I go. That's why now I'm just adding chicken. You know, eventually I'll do those egg and milk meals once, you know, a couple times a month and stuff like that. So you can't bombard yourself with information. You'll just stress yourself out. The key is to just get something that works for you every day. Like for me, it was beef, milk, eggs, butter. You know what I'm saying? Find something that works, and then to get your health on track, and then start perfecting the diet once you get your health to a reasonable level. And yeah, I eventually want to get into possibly like doing some cucumber juice or celery juice and stuff like that. Brandon White, I wonder what will happen if you drink some vegetable juices, maybe further improvements. Right, yeah, exactly. So that's a very good point. I got a juicer, man. Like I said, guys, I went through basically all of the steps that everybody's went through when it comes to trying to find your health. and I was juicing the hell out of stuff for like a year or two before I went on this diet. I was juicing crazy. I was doing crazy juices, man. Like a full cutting board with a mound of vegetables, all different colors. I had all that shit going, you know. Definitely made me feel good at first, for sure. KP says, I don't think it would be natural to eat excrement, lol. Dude, Augenus said that he found native tribes super healthy, eating like cow patties and stuff. So I don't know, man. I would obviously not human excrement, but you know, I just don't. I don't know, man. French Carnivore says Vox Day drinks coffee. Thoughts? Vox Day eats Taco Bell, dude. I mean, Vox Day, I consider that guy a friend. I support the hell out of his work, his books, his streams, and stuff like that. I love his live streams. He's one of the smartest dudes I've ever encountered in my life. And he eats Taco Bell and drinks coffee, man, you know? But he's also a bit older than us, you know what I mean? And you guys got to consider that guts degenerate over time. So I think that's why you're seeing these like older people that can eat all this shit and they don't understand what the fuck we're doing. You know what I mean? Like they think we're fucking crazy for eating raw meat and stuff like that. Well, it's like you guys are the ones that gave us this shitty gut. You know what I mean? By drinking coffee and eating Taco Bell, stuff like that. So I don't judge them because I understand that that's how it works, that guts degenerate over time. Vox Day obviously has a stronger gut, not as damaged as us, so he can get away with coffee and Taco Bell. Godspeed, go for it. Ike, did you see how he drinks milk? Said sucking it out of a bottle made him just as hydrated with half the consumption. Yeah, I did see that, yeah. Like Augenus recommends drinking milk like kind of like this, like little baby sips. So, like I said, you can just keep perfecting this until, who knows? Who knows, man? You just stop aging or something. Brandon White says, yeah, I'm a perfectionist as well. I'm either 100% or may as well not, brother. That's exactly where I'm at, man. Gotta be thorough, man. Very, very thorough is the key. Omnivore says, animal-based centric diet with vegetation is burst of energy. Liver is best in my opinion. Hero Diamond, human belly pH is 1.5, so it is the same as vultures. Hence, if you eat too much salad, you get acid reflux. Liver, heart, brain, the best parts of the meats. Heart is awesome. I love heart and brain. You're right. I like all that stuff. I don't crave liver anymore. Isn't that interesting? But I do crave brain every once in a while, which sounds weird probably to people, but I do. It's good stuff. Hero says hydrochloric acid can melt bones as well. They used in Breaking Bad to melt a person's body. Didn't Jeffrey Dahmer do that too? What's up, Maven Taylor? Augenus Archive says, what do you think is going to happen in 2020? Seems to be an intense year. World War III warnings, coronavirus, vaccines push, warm winter. I see 2020 as like the best year that I've ever had in my life, personally. So it seems to me like it's going to be a good year overall for everybody, but it might be just me projecting my feelings outward, you know? But last year was like a really good year for me. The year before that was a really good year, so it just keeps getting better for me. In 2020, this is going to sound weird to some people, but my birthday has a lot of twos in it, and it's all even numbers, and that's something that I've always been like a big numbers guy. I was always like pretty gifted at math and stuff like that. I guess you could say a little bit obsessed with numbers to a certain point, but like my birthday is all even numbers and it has a bunch of twos in it. And something about 2020 just it like satisfies something inside of me, and it just coincides also with, I just feel like it's going to be one of the best years. I don't know why. I just have a good feeling about it. Anna Spawner says, hey. Hello, Anna. Cindy K, hi. If the fat of a ribeye is white and not yellow, does it mean it's grain fed? Thanks. Probably grain finished, yes. Most of the time when you get 100, when I've seen 100% grass fed, it's pretty yellow stuff. But most grain fed meat that you're going to get from the store, Cindy, has been fed grass for most of its life. You're not going to see too many animals that are just fed piles of grain their whole life. That's going to be like a really sick animal. They start them on grass and then they fatten them up on grain. Honestly, a little bit of grain is not bad. I eat grain finished beef quite often, and I'm extremely healthy. So, meat man, my friend thinks that people who eat raw meat are going to get sick and die. What would you say to him simply so that he understands that what we're supposed to eat? Well, I would just ask him, introduce him to people like me and like Sveria, and ask him why he thinks that we don't get sick and die. And then just kind of try to speak some logic to him about that, you know what I mean? But if they're not going to listen to you and they're not going to be logical, then don't waste your time, dude. A lot of people just don't have a logical thinking mind, and they're ruled by their emotions. And when you're ruled by your emotions, you're subjected to the brainwashings of the media, because the media is all about pushing emotional rhetoric and getting you freaked out about shit. So I would just say stay away from people that push fear and despair and that are overrun by their emotions, because they're just going to drag you down into a pit of fear. French carnivore, is it possible to be a liquidarian on raw milk alone? Yes, you won't be super muscular, but the point is longevity. I think that's 100% possible. Yeah, I've seen a lot of evidence that you could survive on just raw milk, for sure. Especially if you start fermenting it and stuff like that, for sure, man. Sarah Sapien says, I need some global warming up in here. I know, right? I could use a little bit up here too. Actually, today was real nice here in Nebraska. It was like 50. Collapse Aesthetics here at Sunday, 222020. Exactly. I love that stuff. I love when dates do that, man. Because that stuff only happens like every once in a while. Those even numbers are so satisfying. I don't know what the hell it is about it, man. Numbers represent some kind of like weird hidden language that I think we're not aware of. Maven Taylor, my buddy is in the Navy, might fail his contract because he won't take the anthrax shot. Anyone know how to get around it? Religious. Tell him to push it as a religious reason. I guarantee they won't press it on him if he tells them that his religion won't allow him to get vaccines. My mom got MS after a bunch of Navy vaccines. Bradley David Good says, yo, what's up, Bradley? Miguel says, what's up with the salmonella and coronavirus fear-mongering these days? It's all fear, guys. It's people being ruled by fear. Fear is as old as time, man, you know? Fear has existed in this world for as long as this world has been here. All it is it's the devil trying to freak you out, get you scared. That way they can control you. That's the way I see it. I don't know where else fear comes from, but it's a perfect way to control someone's mind. And once you see it, you see it. It's so hard not to see it, but once you see how much fear gets pushed out in this world, like, this is such a great example, because raw meat has like cured so many people's diseases and helped their life so tremendously. And the only reason we were able to wake up to this is because we overcame our fears, you know? So just think if you took that into every aspect of your life and you wrote down a list of everything you were afraid of and you just overcame all of that, just imagine like the breakthroughs you would have in your life. And I truly think that's possible. You can overcome every fear in your life because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, man. You can guarantee if someone's trying to make you scared of something, it's bullshit. That's why you can't, like the coronavirus is such a perfect example. They're just freaking you out about it, and you can just guarantee it's BS. There's no proof that viruses are even transmutable. There's no proof that vaccines work. It's insane. Cindy K, what do you think of pickled vegetables and vegetable juice? Pickles sound really good, actually. I've thought about like introducing like pickles back because that sounds really good. And pickles are actually or cucumbers are actually a fruit, so you're not technically eating a veggie. Sauerkraut sounds pretty good. That's something that I'm more thinking about maybe experimenting with eventually. But you can only do so much, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've done some drastic changes to my diet over the last month or two, so I'm kind of still adapting to that by cutting half of my red meat down and substituting it with milk and eggs. It's working out really good though. And then now I've got chicken back in. This is great because now I don't have to eat all this like $15 to $25 a pound salmon to get white meat in. I can just eat some chicken. William Loud, what does raw chicken taste like? I eat raw beef and fish, but not chicken and pork. Tastes like nothing, dude. Really bland. Bradley David Good, fear, right? Flu in USA kills 12,000 to 61,000 a year, and millions are fearing coronavirus that killed 100. It's not even the flu that kills those people, though, man. It's all bullshit. The flu doesn't kill anybody, man. The flu is trying to detoxify something out of your body. The flu is trying to help you. The flu doesn't kill you. What kills you is whatever you put in your body that triggered the flu virus to be manufactured by your body to remove it. And sometimes the flu will detoxify you so intensely. If you're like an old person or maybe a baby or something like that, it could kill you, you know? That's why you don't want to wait till the end of your life to change your diet, you know, because you could go through an intense detoxification triggered by a flu and it could kill you. But it's not the flu that kills you. The newspapers tell you the flu kills you. It's so stupid. Nature doesn't kill you. God doesn't create diseases. Nature doesn't create diseases. These are all man-made things. These are all man-made from pollution, chemicals, from cities, all of this shit. That's what's creating the diseases. So it's just, they have everything so backwards, you know? Martin O'Donnell says, what's up? What's up, man? Greg Lesem says, I tried some black Angus beef. It's so delicious, but very expensive. Yeah, beef can get up there if you get the good stuff. Bradley David Good says, Corona is the common cold. Yeah, totally. Like, and guys, it's no surprise that this Corona thing is coming from China, the place where everybody wears those freaking masks. Like, get out of here, man. They're gonna blame these deaths on a virus and not because they have to wear masks from pollution. It's so stupid. It's the same thing about the Black Plague that Augenis talks about. Now, I can't prove this because I wasn't there and I haven't autopsied their bodies. I have to clarify these things because I'm not going to sit here and act like a know-it-all because I haven't done the experiments or done the autopsies. But these theories make the most sense to me. The plague was caused by burning coal indoors, and mercury is a byproduct of that. And they blamed it on rats and fleas. It's so stupid. The two things that you can never escape. There's freaking rats everywhere and fleas everywhere. And they want you to be scared of that. It's just unbelievably retarded. So yeah, this corona thing, in my opinion, probably is coming from like pollution, you know, just like the Black Plague did. Because the farmers that lived on the outskirts of the city that burned wood didn't get the plague. How do you explain that? French carnivore, what's the fastest way to cut fat that can be incorporated with fasting? The fastest way to cut fat that can be incorporated with fasting. Augustus said if you want to lose weight, just eat eggs. So I would say if you want trying to cut fat and still keep your nutrition coming in, just eat a bunch of eggs. Maybe some milk with it. Not too much milk. Maven Taylor, never thought about that. It might work. Got him reading Pearson's book about Louis Pasteur. His fasting book is great also. Bradley David Good. Miller's has awesome butter pickles. I saw them the other day while there and salivated. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you sent me that email. Yeah, Bradley said he went to Miller's farm and he sent me this awesome email about all this stuff that he saw. It sounded like freaking heaven, guys. Like when I thought about Miller's, I was thinking like maybe a couple barns, maybe some animals roaming around, some chickens, stuff like that. This sounded like a freaking extreme operation, man. And the guy Amos sounded extremely friendly and just like a really cool guy, man. So if you're in that area, I highly recommend you go check out Miller's Farm because that email you sent was pretty cool. Hero says, you ever tried drinking sauerkraut juice? I have not. Brandon White says, those people could survive if their diet was sorted. That's how Augustus managed to help people on their deathbeds. Yeah. Yeah. People just, they eat so much crap. And it's like the same thing all the time. They don't eat sorted diet. Brandon White says, anyway, I'm also really into numbers. Last couple of days, been seeing a lot of repeated numbers. Sounds like we have a lot in common. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. I'm gonna get going now. I need to sleep. Have a good one. All right, man. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. I'll try to stream tomorrow if I can too. So maybe I'll catch you tomorrow. Martin O'Donnell, China is so polluted, air full of heavy metals, tar, and toxins. Yeah, it's probably heavy metals. I mean, that's like the biggest explanation, you know? Sarah Sapien, I had salmonella poisoning from restaurant chicken when I was 12. Had to stay in the hospital for 5 days in IV therapy. It's because they cooked it. It's because they cooked it, man. Probably some bad meat and they cooked it up. Bradley David Good, yeah, totally alright. Some toxins got out and they would never admit that. Yeah, they just don't know. They don't know how to measure for toxins. They only know how to measure for like bacteria and shit like that. It's so dumb. Because bacteria is so prevalent. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Runt? Good to see you. Detox is a misconstrued truth at the heart of a lot of issues. Also, most pollution right now seems to come from China's main rivers, so it makes sense. Yeah, it's true. China's a disaster. China's a mess. Hero Diamond, actually, I believe you're onto something with the plague stuff. The Decameron book from Dante Alighieri talks about the plague survivors that lived by moving to the country, waiting the plague out. Isn't that funny? Yeah, I want to know, I would love to know, if anybody can help me out with this, how did Augustus know that about the plague? You know what I mean? It's mind-blowing that he knew that shit about the plague, but it's even more mind-blowing to wonder how he figured that out, or what book he read. Because I would love to read that book, man. Greg Lessem, do you eat raw cheese or kefir? Oh, yeah. I drink kefir. I'm constantly brewing, or kefir or kefir, however you want to call it. I like kefir. I'm always brewing kefir. And I eat raw cheese every day for lunch. I eat about a racquetball size. And then I eat also a little bit at night sometimes when I snack. I actually have some salted cheese right now. It's 6 years aged, and it's the best shit I've ever had in my life. It is unbelievably sharp and good, man. My dogs freak out over it. They freak out over it the same way they freak out over high meat. But so I eat a little bit of salt. I should clarify this. I'm experimenting with salt because I'm getting some leg cramps, which it kind of happens in the wintertime, I think, mostly. It's probably dehydration from extreme, like we're in like extreme cold temperatures in the wintertime right now, like blizzards and stuff. So that might have something to do with it. But so now I'm experimenting with, I have real salt, which is like in the U.S. here, it's like a mineral salt with a lot of stuff in it. So I'm putting a little bit of that on my meat, a little bit, and then I also got some salted cheese. And Alginus did say that some people can benefit from salt, like people with like thyroid issues and stuff like that. I've kind of suspected that I've had that issue because my mom had like supposedly thyroid problems. So I try to just be as logical as I can. I kind of look at the things that have affected my mom and stuff like that, and then I just try to address those in myself before it becomes a problem. But I seem to do okay with salt, like obviously not too much, but I can only eat like a little bit of salted cheese at a time, whereas I can eat like a ball of raw cheese unsalted like that. But my tolerance for salt is way down. Stop says, what did Ajna say about the flu? How the heck can I get rid of this flu I got? He said a lot of stuff about the flu. I don't have the book on me right now. If you need the PDF, you can email me. But you just got to ride it out, man. I've been through probably 2 or 3 flus in the last couple years, and a couple were brutal, very, very brutal. So I've been through it, man. You'll survive. You just got to ride it out. But I can tell you that it gets better as you get more healthy on this diet. The flu will only last about 24 hours. So it's just a detox, man. You got to get all that shit out of your body, and the body uses the flu to remove it because the stuff in your body is so toxic, it will actually kill the bacteria in your body if your bacteria tries to remove it. So your body has to produce a flu virus to get it out of there. So it's just you're paying the piper for all of the chemicals and stuff that have, been put into your system over the years. It's rough. I know it's rough. Flus suck. The worst part about the flus is it completely like drains your endorphins. You know what I mean? So you're just like, you're like a brain dead and you're sick. It kind of sucks. Martin O'Donnell, look at China. They built a new hospital in 10 days for all the sick people. Wuhan is under lockdown, I heard. Oh, yeah. They just want to build more hospitals. And my boss, he reads the USA Today. He's this old boomer. And sure enough, on the front page, scientists developing vaccine for the coronavirus. So, already pushing vaccines. Like that's going to fix the pollution. Hero Diamond says salmonella poisoning happens when you touch cooked chicken with raw chicken. That causes the raw chicken to connect to the cooked meat toxins, which causes a salmonella poisoning. The salmonella is the janitor. Now, if salmonella poisoning was real, I would probably be sick already. I just ate a half pound of raw chicken. Bad says China locked up Muslims in camps. That sounds insane. Bradley David Good says having some A2 milk and honey straight from the cow at Miller's the morning I came, never cooled, was warm when I got it, and in my cabinet ever since. Wow. Yummy. I need to call my farmer and have him set some warm milk aside. Sarah Sapien, it was deep fried, but I remember it was cold and pink around the bone. Ooh, that sounds pretty toxic. So like the outside was super cooked and the inside wasn't. Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. Jay says, is there an expiration date for raw milk? Do I put it in the fridge or not? I put mine in the fridge because it starts to clabber if you don't, so that's a little annoying. But yeah, it's good for I'd say about 2 weeks. It starts turning. Anna Spanar, do you experience diarrhea on carnivore? At the beginning, like when I was transitioning and stuff, definitely, definitely, but not anytime lately. And also when I ate like way too much butter in one sitting, I would get that. Hero Diamond says I experimented with salt, can't do it any longer. Yeah, definitely the tolerance. I have a very very low tolerance for it, but when it's with that 6 year aged cheese, man, holy crap! I don't know if you guys have ever tried that before. That stuff is something else, man. Bradley David Good, celery and tomato has good salts. Yeah, I've been trying to actually just get it through oysters because my oysters have like ocean water and stuff like that, and they taste kind of salty. So I've been trying to just get my sodium in through oysters, and yeah. Gam says, "What do you think about the magic pill? Have you seen it?" I don't think I've seen that. You might have to link it or something. Miguel says, "I got quite sick recently and not sure what it was. My guess it was poorly aired high meats. I was really lazy with it. LOL." Yeah, I've heard that you can turn it back though. You know what I mean? If you expose it back to oxygen, the anaerobic bacteria would probably die off. So I'm not sure how that works. But if you made it turn anaerobic and then ate it right away, yeah, you probably would get pretty sick. Gam says the magic pill is a documentary about a good meal to cure you. No, if it's on YouTube or something, I'll maybe check it out later. Runt says, "Do you think seaweed is a good source of iodine?" Um, Maybe if you can get it like fresh, you know what I'm saying? But I'm so landlocked that I'm afraid to really like source any kind of seaweed or anything like that. I've heard that it's rich in iodine though, definitely. But I can't really confirm 100% because I've never actually had it. And I would only eat something that is like guaranteed fresh. I just don't know how the hell you would get fresh seaweed. I know you're probably closer to the coast, so you would probably have a way better chance of getting fresh seaweed. So it's worth a try. I don't know. Greg Lesem, is it dangerous to eat raw bone marrow from the supermarket? Yeah, probably. I actually, when I ate that raw bone marrow last week, it was from a new source, and I didn't really ask them, like, which I should have, if they were vaccinated or anything like that. I'm guessing they were, but I felt actually kind of bad the next day. So I'm no longer experimenting with like bone marrow that much, especially from new sources and stuff like that, because I suspect that it possibly had something to do with that bone marrow I had. So that's not stuff you really want to mess around with. I mean, the best plan, like I've had pretty good luck eating bone marrow. Uh, Obviously, like Miller's Farm would be a good source, and then also I have some local farmers here that I mean, I think they probably still vaccinate though, so I don't know what to say about bone marrow. I would say to be 100% sure, just get it from Miller's Farm. Kilowatt, do you have beef stew? No, but it sounds freaking good. My buddy heated up like a pot roast stew for lunch the other day, and it smelled freaking delicious, man. So I still have like cravings for cooked food and stuff like that, which is good. It means I can still have like a semi decent social life and go out and like have a steak or maybe like a pot roast at a restaurant or something if I want to. You know what I mean? But the idea is to just get your health as well as you can get it. Not to just the idea is not to just like be a raw meat eater. You know what I mean? That's just part of the deal. You know. Bradley David Good. I never had diarrhea. 2 years eating raw. Interesting. Bradley David Good, did you age the 6-year cheese? I wish. I really would like to get into that though. I just bought it. Daniel Mihatovic, is that lighting or are your forehead wrinkles all gone? I did get some sun today. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. I got some sun today, and like the sun is like really good for your skin, man. So maybe. Israthnism, have you ever tried the century egg? No. You see, I'm 2 years into this, and I still haven't tried half this stuff. Runt, did you soak your chicken in lemon juice? Tastes awesome. No, should I do that? That actually sounds really good. That sounds like something Audience recommended, huh? That guy he had so much stuff. Bradley David good pasteurization video. Can you talk more about the A1, A2 thing you said in the video? Yeah, man. Very simply put, they're blaming a cow protein, I believe, on pasteurization. So I think there's probably two different things going on, okay? So with the A1 milk, which comes from a specific breed of cow called the Holstein cow, but the thing is A1 also has A2. It's never just all A1 or all A2. When they say A1, they're talking about A1 with mostly A1 and a little bit of A2. When they're talking about A2, they're talking about mostly A2 with a little bit of A1. Okay, so it's always a mixture, but just for purposes here, they just say, just to simplify it, they say A1 and A2 because it's just predominantly A1, A2. So they're talking about the proteins in the milk, right? And so I think there's two things going on with A1 milk from researching this over the last 2 years. I think there's two different things going on with it. One is me and Sferia both, and it sounds like damn it, who else was I talking to today? Sorry, man, I just freaking forgot your name. We digest A2 milk slightly better than A1, okay? And we've been on this diet for a long time, so we know it's not like our gut or anything like that. Like our guts are pretty much tip top at this point, right? We digest A2 milk slightly better than A1. And for me, it comes like when I drink A1 milk, sometimes I'll just burp a little bit, you know? That's it. A little bit of burps. Not a big deal. I don't even really think about it. Who cares? Not a big deal. I think some people probably potentially it may be worse for them, like they digest A1 slightly worse than A2. But also, A1 milk, when it's pasteurized, creates like all sorts of crazy diseases, man. And if you read The Devil in the Milk, that's what they're alluding to is A1 milk. They're saying A1 milk causes all these diseases. But what they're really talking about is pasteurized A1 milk is what causes all the diseases. But regular A1 milk can be slightly hard to digest, I believe, compared to A2, right? And I don't know if these people are just being picky, overly picky, or I don't know if their guts are just perforated and the casein is penetrating the intestinal wall, going into their bloodstream, and that's why they can't digest A1 as well as A2. It's pretty complicated, man. I'm trying to wrap my mind around all this. I've done polls on my channel. I've polled like 100 people at a time and asked them about A1 milk, and about like 20%, 25% said that that they have like slight digestive issues with A1 milk. You know what I mean? So to be honest with you, if I took that poll, if someone asked me that, if A1 milk gave me slightly digestive issues, I would be like on the fence about it because yeah, it makes me burp a little bit sometimes, but it doesn't really ruin my day. You know what I mean? So I could answer yes, it gives me slight digestive issues, but is it a big deal? No. So it's really hard to figure out what's going on with this because until you just like screen every single person and ask them what their symptoms are, what their history is, you'd have to like do autopsies on people and stuff like that. You'd have to like look at their intestines to see if they're perforated. It's so incredibly complicated to try to figure this stuff out. You can only do, one person they can only do so much, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I'm pretty confident in saying that raw A1 milk is perfectly fine for you. And its pasteurization is what's creating all of the disease, you know what I mean? Jam, would you ever mix raw egg and raw butter and raw meat in a blender then drink it? Yeah, oh yeah. Why not? I've thought about doing like smoothies and stuff like that. That's what's cool about this diet is you can get really creative. Froya says hello. What's up, Froya? Bradley David Good. I won't eat bone marrow or organs unless it's from a farm where they never use chemicals. Miller's Organic and grass-fed have had shots, dewormers, and it can make you sick. Really? So Miller's does vaccinate? Sklunger, do you eat the eggshells? I do not. I give those to my dogs for the calcium. I grind them up. Froya says I mix the raw eggs with milk and that's how I drink it. That's good stuff. I found that egg whites don't mix that well, so I just usually mix up the yolks. Bradley David Good, lemon chicken does sound really good. I might have to try that, Runt. I appreciate that little advice there. Martin O'Donnell, you have great skin. It's been very cloudy here in Calgary, not much sun. Yeah, dude. I've been actually like pale as a ghost until today. I got actually like just enough color that I don't look like I'm dead anymore, but I was looking like I was dead for sure for like a week. Daniel says I almost died when you said my last name. I'm sorry, man. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Mahadovich? I don't know. I'm like mixing like Spanish in there. I don't know if J is I'm saying like J like a Spanish J. Mijatovic? How about that? Daniel Mijatovic. Is that right? Hero Damon. Augenus says lime is better than lemon though. Okay. That's good to know. He did say that, didn't he? Nice. Lime sounds good too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is going to get fun. Yeah, soaking my chicken in some lime. Daniel, have you tried clay lemonade? How do you get enough magnesium? I do actually salt baths every once in a while. That's a good way to get magnesium. And Augenus said they were okay. So just buy Epsom salt. Do a bath every once in a while. If you're getting really deficient, that'll get you back up to par for sure. Israth says, I stopped drinking pasteurized milk completely for like a week now and I feel a lot cleaner. Acne has been healing faster also, but still a long way to go. Good for you, man. Yeah. Gotta quit that stuff. I was eating pasteurized goat butter, guys, for like this whole like past year. So I haven't been 100% like raw, you know what I mean? Because it's like I couldn't find raw butter until I got the Miller's Farm thing going. So it's really hard. It's no surprise that people have a hard time doing this diet because it's like it's just hard to source this stuff locally, man. Bradley says no, Miller's is totally clean. Second thought, organic and grass-fed are not clean. I guess I'm a little confused. I'm assuming Miller's doesn't vaccinate because he was part of Augenus' whole thing. That's all I'm really worried about with the marrow, to be honest with you. I don't want to be eating like mercury and formaldehyde, you know? Froya says, yeah, I never liked the whites from raw eggs. I can't swallow it, so I mixed it with milk and yolk. Interesting. See, I never liked. That's interesting. I can eat raw eggs out of the shell, no problem, but I can't mix it with milk. I don't like mixing the egg whites with milk. It like reminds me of I don't know, something I shouldn't mention. Cindy K, do you have some advice to start primal diet but for a low budget? Sure. Um, let's see. Supermarket beef is okay. I mean, just give it the old sniff test. Taste it. If it tastes all right, you're probably gonna be fine. I've eaten hundreds of pounds of supermarket beef and never gotten sick. So you can start there. That's usually like the cheapest prices. And then you're gonna have to find some raw milk though somehow. I don't know where you're located at, but sometimes that can get pricey because the stupid government has put so many sanctions on it that it's hard to get it cheap. You know, like I pay about $7 a gallon for my milk, but um, you can you can get it. You can get your budget pretty cheap. Just by eating a half a pound to a pound of beef a day, and then drinking a little bit of raw milk and some raw eggs. You don't have to get too crazy with all the extra stuff. You can just kind of start with that fundamentally and build from that. But that's a tough question. It really is. It's not easy to do this with like a little money because the only way you could do it at an extreme low budget would be to have your own animals and chickens and stuff like that. So I would say start looking around, getting a hold of as many farmers in your area as you can. Check out prices and go from there. Daniel says, very close. Ha ha ha. Nice. Almost perfect. Yeah, I had to look at it for a second and like, I mean, that's not obviously not a common American last name, but I've heard enough people speak foreign languages enough to where I can figure some stuff out. Sklunger, why do you eat raw? I eat raw because, well, I was like 1 month carnivore. I was eating cooked carnivore, and I was having such good results from that I watched a video of Sverige, and Augenus Wonderplanets was talking about raw meats, and I've always been a guy that just the truth always like rings true with me when I hear it. I know how to recognize truth, I guess, right away. And it just rang true to me, man. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I'm naturally, I guess you could say, a pretty fearless person. I don't really like think of myself like that or anything, but when I do think about it, I think about the fact that I'm just naturally pretty fearless and I'm like a natural sort of risk taker to a certain point, as long as there is a reward at the end. You know what I mean? If there's a great reward at the end, I'm willing to take a risk to get that reward. And I saw the raw meat thing as just a very minimal risk compared to a gigantic reward. And that's exactly what happened. So that's why I eat raw, man. And like I said earlier, like I'm a perfectionist. So once I find something, I tend to like perfect the hell out of it. Like like I've mentioned before, I had like a music channel like 10 years ago that got deleted accidentally. But I have a bunch of music I produced, and when I would like make that music, I would just go crazy with it. Like I would spend like 8 hours a day straight, like perfect the hell out of it. And raw meat is like a way to perfect your health. It's a way to perfect your diet. So I don't know. It's probably the best way I can explain that. It's just really good for you. Freya says, Mijatovic, try pronouncing his last name like that. Mijatovic. Oh, okay, nice. Mijatovic. Thank you. Ricky Burger, raw chicken looks good. Yeah. You beat me to the raw chicken. You beat me to it. But you were right. This stuff is freaking good. I love it. Daniel Mijatovic, do you still eat frozen meats? Every once in a while, but I hate doing it, man. I got like 20 pounds of grass-fed beef in my freezer, and it's like I'm thinking about feeding it to my dogs, dude. I don't like frozen that much. But I'm willing to, definitely. We'll see. I think what I'm gonna do is we'll see. I'm gonna experiment a little bit with some frozen meat here coming up because I've been talking with my farmer. We've been having some really, really interesting emails. I should read those to you guys sometime. They're pretty mind-blowing emails, man. This guy's an older guy. He's been grass-fed beef farming for quite a while. He's really intelligent, and he's really enjoying like my conversations too. Like I'm telling him all about ogenous and all this stuff, and he's filling me in on like the frozen meat thing. Like basically, we would have probably eaten some frozen meat in certain weather conditions and stuff like that when like hunting wasn't available. So it makes perfect sense that a small portion of our diet could be frozen, and that's not a problem. You know what I mean? But obviously, I prefer fresh. But all I can get usually frozen, or all I can get 100% grass fed is usually frozen. So that's kind of the problem. So I'm kind of forced to eat frozen if I want grass fed, unless I buy these gigantic beef quarters. And I think I'm done buying these beef quarters because I'm not eating 2 to 3 pounds of beef every day anymore, and I don't have like a family yet to feed. So it's kind of ridiculous for me to buy 100 pounds of grass fed beef for one guy when I'm only eating. It'll take me months and months to eat that. And Martin O'Donnell, at this point, starting your own homestead is the only way to get 100% clean and fresh food. Yeah, totally. That's it couldn't be more clear to me that like you know God revealed to me that it's the only way I could live my life from here on out is by doing a homestead. It's the only way, because it's just like you spend so much money ordering this like raw unsalted cheese when it's like you could just make your own freaking cheese, man. This Miller's cheese is not fancy stuff. It's just raw unsalted cheese. You could easily do it on your own if you had like goats and stuff. And I don't eat that much cheese, so I could probably make enough from a nice little herd of goats. You know what I mean? So it's very doable, and I think a lot of people would be surprised at how cheap their food would be every day if it was just on their own animals. Bradley David Good, Miller's never uses any chemicals in any way. That's what I thought. Bradley David Good, organic and grass-fed labeled meats and bones usually are vaccinated or dewormed that can make you sick. Clear? Yes, 100% clear. That makes sense. Yeah, although, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because they wouldn't risk not vaccinating them. A lot of those guys don't understand how diseases work. Hero Diamond says, I take a sip of egg white and a sip of milk and mix it in my mouth. Tastes way better. Interesting. Freya says, I don't like the slimy part of the egg. It comes right up. Yeah, a lot of people have issues with eggs at first. I used to gag on eggs a little bit. And sometimes if I like get too much in my mouth, like if I don't know, it's hard to explain. But sometimes I want to gag too a little bit. But not really though. I can pretty much knock eggs down no problem. Hero Diamond says you gotta gargle it. That's funny, dude. Hero Diamond says, did you do drugs when you were doing music? Maybe. Maybe a part of that. Greg Lessem, what difference did you notice since you're eating raw compared to cooked? It's really hard to say because okay. Like, I only ate cooked carnivore for 1 month. So it would be better if I had done like cooked carnivore for a year and then I did raw for a year so I could tell you, okay, last year this happened, this year this happened. But I only did cooked carnivore for a month and then I just switched to raw. So, but obviously going raw compared to like a cooked American food diet is like majorly drastically different, dude. Like I'm an entirely different person. Just mentally, physically, spiritually, like I don't even compare to myself 3 years ago. You know, I think I have a picture. I could show you guys a picture. I'll pull it up someday of myself like probably 3 or 4 years ago. It's one that I don't think I've posted yet, but it's weird. Like my skin looks like orange or something. It's really strange. But I was definitely like I was having a lot of problems, man. Like all my joints were all messed up. Like my hips felt like they were pulling out of their sockets and shit. My grandpa's had hip surgery. I was just having all of these issues that my mom and grandpa had like later in their life, but like in my 30s. It was really freaking weird. So going raw just I think like helped clear my body up. But I guess to answer your question in short, the most clear difference between raw and cooked for me was the energy after I ate. It was way different when I ate raw. Like it was like a clear energy incline, whereas when I ate cooked food, it was not an incline in energy. It was like it wasn't as steep of an incline. It was just like kind of a slow, and then it felt like my body had to like utilize the energy to digest the cooked food in a sense. So, and I don't know how that works because cooked food is technically like pre-digested from the heat, but I still felt like raw food is the only thing that I've ever eaten in my life that I felt like nothing was in my stomach. It was the only time in my life that I ever ate food and I felt like nothing was in there. And then also, it was the only time that I ever ate food where I felt like euphoric afterwards. Like literally like I was on like drugs or something. It was like just a really interesting experience. Bradley David Good. I think raw chicken tastes like chicken, but more natural and has less flavorful, but a better flavor to me. Yeah, this raw chicken is way better than cooked chicken, man. Way better. Freya says I make cottage cheese. It's very easy. That's the way to go. I've never done cottage cheese yet. Bradley David Good. It's my understanding that vaccinations are mandatory for retail grocery grass-fed meat. It has to be. It has to be. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't accept it, huh? Daniel says, have you gone through serious detox where you were not functional and had to lay down for some time? Oh, yeah. Like I said earlier, I've had flus for 24 hours where I was sweating, shaking, cold spells, hot spells. Really, really rough shit, man. I've gone through all that, but that was, man, that was a long time ago. I haven't had one of those in a long time, man. It honestly feels like, I mean, who knows what's going to happen, knock on wood, but it feels like it's not going to happen for quite a while because my body's super tuned in right now. I'm going to refill my milk, guys. I'll be right back. Hey, look what I got for dessert. A little raw honeycomb. Some local raw honeycomb. Raw chicken is like my new favorite, man. God, I almost like this stuff as good as beef. Very good, man. Beyond Me says, I believe cooked food is destroyed by heat, not pre-digested. I think it's definitely both, but it's probably more destroyed. better way to put it. Ibrahim says it's pre-digested at first, but the longer you do it, the more destroyed it gets, at least with meat. Yeah, that sounds about right. Freya says I have the same honey. Honeycomb? Nice. It's not the same brand though, right? That'd be crazy if you had Nebraska honey. Daniel says, do you keep milk and eggs in the fridge or outside? By the way, agreed, raw chicken is my favorite. Yeah, raw chicken is like really good, man. I did not expect that. Milk in the fridge, eggs on the counter. I keep milk in the fridge because otherwise it clabbers. It gets all weird, you know what I mean? Froya says it's so delicious. You have the same brand? Are you kidding me? There's no way. This is from Nebraska. You order your honey from Nebraska? There's no way. I thought you were in like, I thought you were up in like Scandinavia or something. Is that right? This is Prairie River Honey Farm in Grand Island, Nebraska. That's the same honeycomb you have? Honeycomb is very expensive. Yes, it is. I only order it like once a year. Cindy K, do you still drink water? Very, very minimal amount. I drink about... I drink so much milk now, I barely drink water. I sip it. Like... I'm drinking probably like 16 ounces of water in a week. Froya says that's where I'm originally from, but I am in the States now. That's very interesting. So what made you order this particular brand? Did it just like pop up in your search, or was it just did you just randomly pick them out, or it's good honeycomb, isn't it? And I don't know if these guys are like some of the only places you can get honeycomb or not. I haven't looked into it, but beyond me. So what's your theory on Haleman getting sick? Okay. I mean, even though I don't really want to talk about this dude that much anymore, I will tell you my theory on it because I think it is important. Okay, we're talking about ex-vegans, guys. Anytime you guys got ex-vegans, you got to understand that these guys destroyed their guts, right? They destroyed their guts. Guys, there's 3 people that were ex-vegans that got sick. You guys know who those 3 people are? And one of them is my friend, okay? Got this, ex-vegan, got on raw meat, and he got sick from some bone marrow. Vegetable police, ex-vegan, got sick in Thailand. Now you got Haleman, ex-vegan, got sick on, what, kidneys and whatever the fuck he ate, right? What do they have in common, guys? They're vegans. They're all vegans, right? I'm thinking what happened here is these guys did something to their bodies with this vegan diet, and now they're trying to blame that on other stuff. You know what I mean? So that seems the most logical to me, because it's like, why aren't we getting sick off of this stuff? You know what I mean? So you just got to think about stuff like that. And it's like, it's when you get sick, it's so hard to figure out like what caused it. You know what I mean? So you got to be really careful about blaming it there. Hero, damn it, I drank 116 eggs this week. That's awesome, dude. That's excellent. Anna Sposner, is your honey fully raw or was it heated to hive's temperature? The honey that I get in the jars is completely unheated. This stuff, as far as I know, is just sliced off the comb. It just says raw honey, so it looks pretty legit to me. Froy says, I didn't order it online. I usually get my honeycombs from the farmer's market, my local farmer's market. I wonder if they ordered it from another states and sell it here. Who knows? Maybe. Yeah. These guys might be bigger than I thought. They might not be. Yeah. I know their website's pretty legit, and who knows? Maybe people think Nebraska has good honey. You know what I'm saying? So they buy it from here. I'm not sure. I know we got good honey, so maybe we do got some good honey in Nebraska. Abraham Ismail, yeah, there's definitely a correlation. Dude, there's 100% a correlation, man. 100%. Bradley David Good. I like your ex-vegan gut theory. Can't go all in that quick. Even my dog had to go slow into raw. Bacteria changes over time. Yes. I know people that their dogs have been on kibble and stuff their entire life, and they throw a piece of raw meat on the ground, and their dog doesn't even eat it, guys. So you got to think about this stuff. When you go vegan, you're fucking your gut up like super bad. You know what I mean? So I would just hesitate. If you get sick and you were vegan before, I would be very hesitant to blame your sickness on anything until you completely heal your body for a couple years. You know what I'm saying? Collapse aesthetics. Severio was a hyper vegan. Yeah, I haven't looked into what exactly his diet was on that, but I know he was at least vegan. Abraham, I never got sick, but I got swollen lymph nodes. I used to have swollen lymph nodes when I had bad teeth infections. Bradley David Good, Haleman ate grass-fed lamb kidneys. They could have had vaccines and dewormers, which is super common in lamb. Yeah, no shit. Exactly. It's just like there's so many missing variables that just it's ridiculous to blame that on something. It's ridiculous to blame that on the food. You know what I mean? Freya says, I'll snap the picture and post it on Discord so you can see it of the honeycomb. That's amazing you have the same honeycomb. What a coincidence. Daniel says, Matt Blackburn, supplement salesman, any thoughts? Anyone selling supplements, man? Be wary. Be wary. They may seem like good people, they may seem like a nice guy, but they're not pushing legit stuff. By the way, I got my hair cut today, and I told them not to make me look like a prison convict anymore. So, I got that figured out. It's interesting how someone brought up the fact that getting like your hair cut really short makes you look docile, and I totally agree with that. So, I don't think I'm ever gonna shave the sides of my head down any shorter than this. It seems unnatural. You know what I'm saying? I would love to start like just cutting my own hair. Does anybody cut their own hair? I should take like a cutting your own hair lesson thing. Biff Vanderhuge, hey, did you eat a lot of the raw pork yet? How did you feel on it? I have not eaten the pork yet, man. It's ridiculous. I got so much of this pork. It's almost like too much. Like, I'm gonna have to throw a bunch of it away, to be honest with you. I don't have room in my freezer. It's sitting in my garage right now, and it got up to like 50 degrees today. I don't know what to do with this shit. I think I'm just gonna let it get air so it doesn't like turn anaerobic, but I'm just gonna probably feed a lot of it to my dogs. And I might crack into the ribs this week. But these ribs are just like hanging in my garage. You know what I'm saying? Like the pig dry aged for like a week before we cut the meat off of it, and then I dry aged the meat like another week, So it's just been like aging and aging and aging. So we'll see what it looks like. I may have messed it up, but honestly, I just got like bombarded with meat that week, man. I got like 100 pounds of pork, and I got like 75 pounds of frozen meat just all at once, and I had no freezer space for it. So I don't know what to do with it. Probably should have bought it. I probably could have bought a freezer with all the money I saved on using that meat. I should have probably thought about that. Froya says, "Oh my God, my dad cuts his own hair sometimes, like the edges or something." LOL. That's funny. You know, my uncle Tim used to cut his own hair, and he always used to have these like weird little like buzz marks on the back. But he's kind of a retard. Young master, I don't cut hair at all except beard. Problem solved. Yeah, I suppose. Just throw it in a ponytail or something, huh? My hair doesn't really quite do that though. Like it gets like kind of curly and like wavy and stuff. I've had my hair down to about here before. It's been pretty long. When I was a kid, my hair was a lot longer. And then even in like my 20s, my mid to late 20s, my hair got a little bit long. But my hair gets like so thick and wiry that it looks kind of ridiculous when it gets long. I look like a total caveman. Froya says, then he calls me to fix it for him, LOL. Yeah, definitely. I need someone to cut my hair for me. Maybe once I get married. Beyond me, Haleman ate a pig head, unclean, end of story. Yeah. Yeah, he also, like I said earlier, he did a video completely trashing Augenus. Trashing him, dude. It was very disappointing. Freud says, you would look good with a beard. You think so? It gets really, really thick. Really, really thick. But I kind of like the just the short stubble for now. I actually had it was pretty thick today. I actually shaved it down a little bit. I tried to look semi-presentable for the live streams or whatever. But I think I look better with a beard in the summertime when I'm like not so pale. Collapse Aesthetics. I did a buzz cut on myself a few days ago. Longest set on the clipper, which is 22 millimeters. That works. Yeah, buzz cut would work. I think I could probably figure it out. I don't know. You think you could, and then you start getting into like figuring out. Yeah, I don't. Maybe. I guess if you just like snip, snip. Maybe the back would get a little crazy. I don't know about that, man. My mom used to try to cut my hair when I was a kid, and she totally ruined my hair a bunch of times. Like my kindergarten photo. I'd look so stupid, dude. Meat Man, in your opinion, what are the top 5 foods for maximum human health? Raw eggs, raw milk, raw eggs, raw milk, raw king salmon, that's 3. Think about this. Raw oysters are pretty good too. Raw eggs, raw milk, raw king salmon. Maybe raw liver. And then, what am I missing? Let's see, what am I missing? That's 4 solid ones right there. It's a good question. I'd say probably raw beef. Throw some raw beef in there. Apotheosis, I don't see Luna in here. Yeah, they usually do show up. Maybe they're watching. Anna says, with long hair and a long beard, you would look cool like a real caveman. You would think so. My beard gets ridiculously thick and wiry. My beard is like insane for sure. Maybe when I'm a little bit older, you know what I'm saying? Possibly. Who knows? Maybe I'll rock the beard this year. We'll see. Apotheosis, feed it to the neighbor's dogs. LOL. Yeah. No shit. Apotheosis says the hardest part is the back top of the head transition area. Exactly. That's the part that my uncle always messed up too. Every time I looked at his hair, because he would do like a buzz, real short on the sides, and then just buzz the top. Every time it was like, you could see like marks going up, or like it was weird. Bradley David Good says, yeah, and behind the ears. Fish eggs. Yeah, fish eggs. That is a, no shit, how did I miss that one? Yeah. Fish eggs. Raw milk, raw eggs. I would say raw milk, raw eggs, raw salmon, fish eggs, and raw liver. Abraham Ismail says raw liver, raw eggs, raw brain, raw bone marrow, raw thyroid. I was going to throw raw brain in there too, but raw brain is so hard to get. It's kind of unrealistic to throw it in there, but it's still definitely one of the healthiest. Brain is like one of the richest sources of vitamin C, isn't it? By the way, guys, you should, I had a couple guys come in today because I sold my treadmill because I don't really run it that much anymore. I don't jog that much. And I told these two guys that I have a raw meat channel, so they might be watching right now, which is interesting. Froya says men with hair clippers are not men. Have it down or cut it all off. Interesting. I agree. I'm not a big clipper guy. I think she used clippers on the side. This is a number 6 on the side. That's the longest I've ever had my hair cut on the sides. I don't know how I ever got brainwashed into doing like a 1 and 2 on the sides. Who the hell thought that was ever a good idea? You know? For one thing, you look like a prison convict, or like you're in the military or something. And for 2, at least for me, it makes my ears stick out more when your hair is like super short on the side. You know what I mean? So it just looks stupid. And then someone mentioned that short hair makes you look docile. And it was like, I've noticed that before. Like every once in a while, I don't know if you guys have ever related to this. You get your hair cut like too short. You almost look like retarded or something. Like Lloyd Christmas on Dumb and Dumber. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like when I get my hair cut too short. I feel like I look like Lloyd Christmas. Bradley David Good, did you figure out what to do with the lamb skin? Are you talking about when I got that fresh lamb slaughter? I think what I did was I threw it in my yard, and I cut it into pieces and threw it in my yard. And my dogs would just like nip the fat off the inside of the skin for quite a while. And then there was just like fur all over my yard and stuff for a while. And I think I eventually just threw it in the trash after they ate all the fat off of it. Beyond Me says, I would love to have some raw moose meat. I heard the fat is the best. Really? Moose. Sounds good. Man, this chicken's good. I'm going to start eating chicken all the time. Damn, it's delicious. I like the way that it chews and digests almost like fish. Meat Man, what are your thoughts on a wild-caught cod liver and a can and their own oil? Do you think it's beneficial or bad because of the can and oxidation? I would be really suspicious of the can, for sure, because of the metals and stuff. I would probably pass if it was in a can, to be honest with you. but that's just me. Bradley David, good. Yeah, I think brain has high levels of vitamin C. I get some buffalo brain from Miller's maybe tomorrow. Had 3 bone marrows yesterday with unripe pineapple. It was an awesome combo. Pineapple's good, man. I induced a like a 2-day gallbladder attack one time. I don't know if you guys have ever had that before, but gallbladder attacks suck. And I got it from eating half a pineapple. So, or it was like a quarter of a pineapple. It was one of the first times that I introduced fruit back into my diet, and so I was just like going crazy on it. Don't ever eat half of a pineapple. Not a good idea. This meal is digesting very well. It's really like, it's like a lighter energy. Chicken gives you a lighter energy. I probably could have used this a long time ago, man. Martin O'Donnell, my dad was chopping up like 30 pounds of freshly killed moose, and the whole kitchen smelled like a forest for a week. That's funny. Caleb Huang, smoked bacon isn't raw, right? It just got smoke in it. I mean, if it's raw, it's raw. I don't know exactly the process of smoking and what that all does. I had some raw cured bacon. It had some stuff in it, but I didn't digest it really well, to be honest with you. Whatever they cured it with, whatever kind of herbs or garlic or whatever, I was like burping for like 6 hours. Troy says, I want to see your dogs. Alright, you guys want to see my doggies? Come here, guys. What's up, buddy? What are you doing? You want to say hi to everybody? Can you say hello? There you go. Can you say hello? Say hello. Oh, that was pretty good. Did you guys hear that? That was pretty good. That was pretty good, buddy. That was close. That was close for a dog. Good boy. Gotis says hi. What's up, man? Good to see ya. Dude, I'm eating chicken. The raw chicken master is here, everybody, and I'm eating chicken. I'm eating chicken first time, man. Stuff is freaking good. I don't know what took me so long, man. I'm just such a beefhead, I guess. Apotheosis, what does a gallbladder attack feel like? I've been eating 4 bananas with mango and berries every morning. Hopefully not doing damage to mine. A gallbladder attack is like an intense pain right in the middle of your stomach that happens like every 5 minutes for like a whole day. Right here in the middle, man. Just over and over and over and over again. It's the worst, dude. Caleb Wang, your dog's spayed, neutered. And I didn't want to do that to any of them, but they're siblings, and one's a male and one's a female, and so I didn't want them to have a litter together because I was like, I guess, afraid of like inbreeding or something like that. So I got the female fixed, but my dog still has his balls. And they unfortunately got vaccinated because I vaccinated them before I knew about vaccines. So they got 1 round of vaccines when they were puppies, but I skipped every round after that. So they missed a lot of their vaccines for sure. I have a theory that vaccines are what causes lazy eyes. What do you guys think about that? Because like I noticed that my dog's eyes became a little lazy after the vaccine, you know? And my buddy who gave me the dogs, he's the one who owned the parents of my dogs here, and the father also had a lazy eye, the father dog, is weird. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how I came up with that theory, but it makes like logical sense. I think vaccines are what causes lazy eyes. What do you guys think about that? Oh, okay, Bradley David gets his smoking is at a certain temperature. Not sure what it is, but it's not raw. Plus, the smoke kills bacteria and enzymes. It's better than cooked, maybe. Interesting. Froy says hugs and kisses for your dogs. Definitely. Abraham Ismail says they can talk. Yeah, my dog has gotten pretty close to saying hello. They're very, very much good at like communicating and stuff like that. I'm always talking to my dogs. I'm always like having conversation with them. What are you doing, buddy? We want to go outside or what? Yeah, these guys want to go outside. Just a second. Be right back. Yeah, my the male dog, the whiter colored one, he's extremely smart, man. Most people it takes I've seen people take months to house train their dogs and stuff, weeks and weeks at least, months and months. Um, I got that guy house trained in 7 days, completely house trained. Like every time he had to go shit or piss, he went to the door or got me, and he was only like 12 weeks old, 13 weeks old puppy, and he was house trained. Like he's just like a super bright dog. So it was just really easy to train him, and he's got half husky in him, so he's very vocal and stuff like that. So we're always like howling together, and he loves to sing and just like he's like it's super cool. They're very alert. You know, part of the reason my dogs are so alert is because they are on this raw diet as well, and also I saved them for like from like tons of vaccines. Hero Damon says you should make a video how to prepare chicken gotus and just eat it raw in the end. That would be funny to lure in people. Yeah, that would be funny to do that. I've thought about doing stuff like that. Definitely. Like almost like a comedy channel. Anna, do you need to implant a dog chip where you live? I think they tried to. They tried to give my dog a dog chip. They tried to give him wormer medication, dewormer and stuff like that. I was like, no thanks. French Carnivore says, is race mixing with Asians cool? Um, that's a tough question, man. That is a very, very tough question. All I can say, all I can say is, at the expense of probably offending some people, but I believe it is the truth. A lot of times it's very unfair to do that to your children because a lot of children have a hard time fitting in when they are mixed race. So I see it as not evil or anything like that, but I see in a lot of cases race mixing to be a very, very selfish thing to do to your children. Hero Damon says definitely also some really dreadful music like Gordon Ramsay type stuff. Goda says only if you're Indian. French Carnivore says Asians have bigger brains. They are very smart people, man. Very smart people. Hero Damon says cooked meat dogs can't see a cat under their nose. Man, you should see how my dogs react to other dogs and how those dogs react to my dogs when I'm just walking my dogs around the block. Like people walking their castrated, vaccinated, cooked meat dogs around the block, just walking in a straight line, not looking left, not looking right, just walking in a straight line. When my dogs walk down the block, they're sniffing everything all over, always sniffing, peeing on everything, always peeing on everything in sight. It's not just me walking my dog in a straight line. It's just boom, 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 boom. We're always just doing shit. And then when we see another dog, my dogs are super alert. Like they can see the dog from 6 houses down, and my dogs' ears are up, their heads are up, and they're both like this, watching the dog. And then as it walks by, my dogs are watching the dog, and then they get up on their hind legs, and I have to like restrain them. You know, I could probably train them a little better, but it's just their instincts are so strong that they just watch the dogs, and it's amazing to watch. Like they don't act like any of my neighbors' dogs. Part of that's the breed, but also part of it is that their senses are so heightened on this diet that it's just they're savages, man. Apotheosis, Hero Damon, and they'll take off your collar and ask you to prove it's yours. Ibrahim says, "Yeah, don't worry about offending butthurt people with the truth." Yeah, it is. It is the truth, you know. It is the truth, man. It's a selfish thing to do to your children. French carnivore. What should I feed my baby once it's born besides milk? When do I give it liver? That would probably be a better question for Gotis. He's right here in the chat, dude. You should ask him. Gotis, you got any answers for French carnivore on that? What to feed a baby once it's born besides milk, and when to give it liver? Hero Damon says, definitely. I call them dog federales. Their job is to kidnap and abuse your dog. It's traumatizing for dogs and causes them to bolt off and run away. Dog PTSD is real. Yep. I went through that when I lived with my uncle for a few years with his dog. And he just threw him in a kennel all day and then fed him kibble and never walked him. And all the dog did all day was run back and forth from the windows and just run and stare at animals. It was sad to watch because it was like he was stuck. He was fixated on the window. It was really, really depressing, man. Beef Commando, if what your observation is different about your dogs versus other dogs, imagine the difference in humans. No shit. No doubt. I do notice it, man. I do notice it. But I don't talk about it that much because I don't want to sound pretentious or arrogant or, you know, whatever. But it's like, I notice that my senses and stuff like that are like way more in tune than like normal people. It's amazing, man. After being on this diet. Caleb Hing, I've heard mixed race children aren't as healthy mentally and physically. Thoughts? I've heard that too, man. And it might make sense. It might make sense, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to really comment on it, but it seems like a very interesting theory. And I do know that there is a higher incidence of schizophrenia among Caribbean islanders. I don't know if you've ever heard that. That's always been a very interesting statistic that I never could quite figure out. Maybe it's because there's all those different little islands and like races and stuff all coming together. You ever thought about that? Gotus, yeah, good. You guys are figuring it out. French carnivore says, I will give the baby breast milk, but when do you give it raw meats? I would assume you could probably start giving it raw pieces. Probably, I mean, You could probably give it tiny little pieces before it has teeth, but you could probably start giving it little chunks of meat when it starts getting teeth, obviously. But you could probably give it really, really small pieces, puree it, and it would probably swallow it just fine, you know? I would say anytime, but maybe Gotus has a better answer. Bradley David Good, not sure when to feed raw meat, but I think Audience had no caution all about it. Nero says, I always wanted a Czechoslovakian wolf dog. That sounds awesome. Gotus says around 6 months you give solid foods. Yeah, that sounds about right, man. And you feel like it wants it, for sure. Abraham says, yeah, the Caribbean is filled with mixed people. Yeah, maybe that is the correlation there. Nero says race mixed people can't get a bone marrow transplant. That's pretty interesting. Huh. Yeah, that's true, huh? Because you would need it from someone of your exact race, huh? I like the energy this chicken gives me, man. So, Gotus, do you notice that chicken gives you like a different energy than beef and stuff? Like a bit of a lighter energy? Hero Damon says, in my country, they give babies raw honey mixed with raw egg yolks. In my country, they put on the honey label, do not give to infants less than 1 year old. Isn't that stupid? T. Mueller, when you first started eating raw eggs, did you get used to it right away? No, I did not. I wanted to gag a little bit, and I can't remember how long it took me to get used to it. I mean, I got used to it fairly quickly. But a lot of these foods made me gag, guys. A lot of it. The liver, the eggs made me gag. Even the beef tasted weird at first. Like, just not used to it, you know what I mean? But you just got to get over it, man. You just have to know intuitively that it's the best thing you can do for yourself, and eventually you're going to just get over that resistance to it, you know? French carnivore. In China, they get leg lengthening surgery and break their legs and have it regrow a little apart. That's insane. Wow. Matt F says, yes, chicken does that. That's weird. Matt F says, I feel like chicken is the best meat for me. I'm like super surprised at how good this chicken tasted and like digested, and the energy I have right now is like really good, man. Bradley David Good says, by Audience's second book, Recipe for Healthy Living, says a lot about infants. He says he fed a 12-month-old raw beef. Oh yeah, it seems like that would be okay for a 12-month-old. Absolutely. Freud says, I'm going to have some Nebraska honeycomb right now. Yum. That's a good idea. I got to finish this up and eat my honeycomb. Almost forgot. Matt F, I find chicken the most tasty. I like taking raw butter and smothering it over the chicken and letting the sun melt it. That sounds good. I'm getting pumped up about chicken here. Because chicken's cheaper too, you know? Timur, what do you think about calisthenics? Calisthenics sound legit if you feel like you need to do it. I get all my workout now just at work. Just walking around. Like, walking around for 8 hours a day is like a legit workout. I don't have any desire to run, to lift weights, or anything anymore. Just walking, good to go. And then I get off of work and walk my dogs too, so I'm just like walking all day long. Shaft Master Goods says, I can't do tartare. You mean you don't like raw beef? Is that what you're saying? Bradley David Good. If it was me, I'd give the baby raw goat's milk around 3 months. If fine with that, try raw cow's milk, just a little to introduce other bacteria than the mother. Sounds legit. Beef Commando. All honey has this label not to feed it to kids under 1 because of bacteria poisoning. I wonder how valid that is, or if there's beneficial reason they don't want kids getting honey. It's bullshit, dude. It's bullshit. It's freaking from like botulism or something. They're trying to scare you. It's like the same thing as like the raw milk fear mongering. It's the same exact thing. Something that happened in the early 1900s. Someone probably left some honeycomb in a pile of like cow shit and then tried to sell it, and someone got like, I don't know. You just never know. Because supposedly the whole raw milk fear mongering thing came from just like super unsanitary conditions, you know. Hero Dem says, my dad actually had leg lengthening surgery. It ruined his life because his diet didn't allow for the bone to grow right, so now he just keeps breaking the same leg. Oh, that sounds painful. Daniel says, opinion about adaptogenic herbs and herbs in general. Heard they can speed up detox and healing. I have heard that herbs are toxic for you, and they actually, like, some herbs are toxic for you, and they actually induce a detox because it's toxic. So it gives you the illusion that you're detoxing, but it's just because you ate, like, basically poison. That actually seems pretty legit to me, knowing what kind of, like, crazy shit is inside of plants. But some herbs are very medicinal, you know, for certain people. So, like cannabis is a good example. That's a specific medicine for specific people, like epileptics and stuff like that. People with Parkinson's disease and shit like that, they can see like a great relief from cannabis, you know. But it's not. I don't think it's a recreational. It's supposed to be recreational. All right, I'm gonna go let my dogs back in. I'll be right back. Dale Lloyd, 10 days in a raw carnivore, I get huge cramps and bloody diarrhea and fever, possibly detox. Bloody diarrhea doesn't sound like detox. Were you vegan before? I don't know. Never had bloody diarrhea. Honestly, I don't know what the hell could cause that. What are you eating? Like, what have you eaten for the past, like, week? T. Muller, my Dissolving Illusions book just arrived in the mail. I'll start to read after this live stream. Apotheosis, schizophrenia, and other neurological conditions normally develop from having an abnormal gut flora, improper balance, which allows toxins to build up in the brain. That makes sense. Allows toxins to build up in the brain. In hospitals, we donate milk, especially the colostrum for premature babies. They pasteurize it with high heat because of harmful bacteria. Wow. That's insane. So premature babies don't even get raw milk? Well, at least I'm giving raw milk to one of my coworkers who's giving it to his premature born children. So at least we can help some. You know what I'm saying? Shaftmaster Goods. Are any nutritionists taking patients like Augenus did? Not that I know of. It would be great to do that though, wouldn't it? Maybe someday, you never know. Maybe someday we can all get together and actually help some really sick people, you know? Anna says, would you try wild meat such as rabbit or quail, pheasant? Yeah, sure. If I could get my hands on some good wild game, I'd be up for it. Daniel says, how stupid do you need to be to go vegan after trying raw carnivore diet? Dude, about as stupid as vegetable police. Exactly, Apotheses nailed it. You need to be vegetable police. Yeah, how stupid do you need to be to discover autogenous funded planets and then go back to vegan? This is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. That poor guy. I have compassion for him because he's obviously a suffering individual. Bradley David Good, I think bloody diarrhea is toxins from what was eaten. Possibly a heavy detox if you went full raw from none. But I think there was some toxin in the meat you ate. French carnivore, what are some good names for a boy? I like Arthur, Hans, Klaus, Marcus. Any good names for a boy? Yeah, Hans is cool. Marcus is cool too. I like Marcus. Arthur's nice. Daniel says, I know one practitioner who uses autogenous principles in New York. No shit. That's good, man. But to be a nutritionist, don't you have to like go through some like weird certifications? I never thought about being an actual nutritionist, but if I could be like a certified nutritionist and then actually give them autogenous principles, that would be super legit. I never thought about that because I thought like maybe you could get in trouble or something for doing that. I don't know what kind of certifications are needed to be a nutritionist. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about it. Reef Guzzler, hey, what's up, man? More like X Reef Guzzler. Young Master, what can I do about fat malabsorption? I eat raw butter with raw meat and eggs. Also can't digest raw milk. Could that be linked? I'm not sure. I mean, try to cut down your fat a little bit if you can't absorb fat. I mean, because fat is kind of hard to digest, especially a lot of butter and stuff. Maybe you're eating too much butter. I had issues with that at the beginning. I don't understand the not digesting raw milk thing. I'm still trying to figure that out with people. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's a tough question. Ibrahim, did you go through a heavy detox on raw carnivore? Yeah, I was just talking about that. I've had like really, really intense flus and stuff like that quite a few times. Probably about 3 times at least. Maybe more than that. Maybe more like 4. Bradley David Good, I just wrote up a whole thing about diarrhea from Autogenous' books and my own thoughts. Get my email from Wes and I'll send it to you. There you go. Team, well, I guess that today if a nutritionist would try to do the same as autogenous, they might be persecuted by the Nutrition Society or something, may even lose their license or society is sick. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, but I guess you shouldn't be afraid, you know what I mean, to spread the truth. But yeah, I was thinking if you became a nutritionist, then it would be hard to promote that because you would probably get a lot of people that would be wanting some kind of mainstream vegan horse shit or something, you know, and then once you tell them like it's raw meat, they would probably maybe try to go out and just like assassinate your character and tarnish your name, and But maybe that's just fear mongering. Maybe you could honestly do it, like Augenis did. Very possible. You have to do a lot of research though. Shaftmaster Goods, make up your own certification as a raw nutritionist. That's an interesting idea. That is interesting. Couldn't you just make up your own certification? Matt, if I shot a bunch of mourning doves one day and ate them raw, it had about the same impact on me as beef. Still not as good as chicken. Reef Gozer says, I finally gave up the coffee, 5 days off. Good deal. Yeah, coffee isn't that hard to give up. Once you get away from it, you realize how just bad it is for you. So I almost gagged on that egg. Because sometimes when you get like a shell, sometimes you get a shell in there, that makes you gag. Because you're not supposed to eat shells. At least I don't think so. It doesn't feel natural. Bradley David Good, that is exactly why not many are doing the nutritionalist thing. Plus they may get killed. This is the best way. Friends sharing, no one claiming to be an expert. I honestly think that's the best way, man. Like I've talked about this before. You want to become, it's like, you want to be like the raw Jesus, you know what I mean? And just like, not saying that I wanted to be that. I'm just speaking hypothetically. When you discover a diet that works for you, you want to become the Jesus that helps everybody. Come along, my children. But you can only really do that with your like friends and family, because when you're reaching outside of your circle, that's when you start getting into trouble, man. Because there's rules to this world that we live in, and like I've said before, we're not allowed to wake people up that God hasn't woke up yet. So sometimes there's nothing you can do to wake people up. Like, people will watch their children die than rather adopt Augenis's diet. I had a friend come over today, and he was telling me about a friend of his that has MS. And I was talking to him about it, and I was like, dude, all you got to do is get on, tell him to get on this diet. I pulled out the Want to Live book. I read him the whole excerpt on MS. He knows I've been on raw meat for 2 years, and I'm healthy as hell. And we've known each other for like over 20 years. Like, we're old high school friends. So he has no reason not to trust me. But it was like, I could still tell that like what I was telling him was not sinking in at all. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people, man? Like, how could you possibly have a friend with MS and then someone tells you a solution to cure it and you're just like, yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, like, it's so weird, man. And so you just realize that there's like literally nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to wake people up, man. It's not up to us. So you just got to basically do what I did, start a channel, wait for people to file in that are already like waking up, that have been asleep. But every once in a while you get like a gamma in here that's fully asleep, fully unconscious, and it's really obvious. It's really obvious when people are sleeping, man. Daniel says nobody has to know what you're doing. Get a certificate, start finding clients, and work in privacy. That's true too. That's very true too. Yeah. I think that's probably a way to do it. Huh. I may look into a nutritionist certification. I may look into that. Nero Machiavelli, can there truly be a raw meat nutritionist? Seems like there's still a lot of things to learn. I had no clue about the importance of white meat, and I've been doing this almost 2 years. Yeah, I know. I'm going through the same exact thing. But we're getting close, man. We're like 90%. You know what I mean? Horatio Washington. Hello, Weston. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Gotis says eggshells don't have over 15 nutrients. That's funny. Eggshells. Yeah, I give the eggshells to my dogs, a little added calcium. Oh, Dale, he was saying email me. and then I'll give you his email. Time for some honeycomb. Washed out. Some good looking stuff. Good shit. Good dessert. Abraham says, I think you might get in trouble with enlightening your family. There's tons of open-minded strangers online. Yeah, my family's nuts. They don't get what I'm doing. Which is crazy because I watched my dad die of Lou Gehrig's disease. My whole family watched my dad die of Lou Gehrig's disease. And they still don't understand what I'm doing. It's unbelievable. Like I said, people will watch their children die and still not wake up. Miguel, my family gets so angry when I talk against vaccines, LOL. Dude, you're not the only one. Don't even worry about it. My little brother called me a conspiracy theorist at like Christmas time one time. I was talking about vaccines. He's like, you're into conspiracies, man. Reef Guzzler, oh, by the way, I love the milk video you made, dude. Thanks, man. That video has been on my mind for like 3 months. I was like, I gotta do a video on pasteurization. I gotta do a video. And I just finally got the time to do it. Woke up this morning, knocked it out. Bradley David Good, chew and swallow the waxy part. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Waxy part's kind of weird, but I'll take it. Some good stuff. Look at that. Daniel says, same experience. I was talking to a raw vegan who seemed open-minded. Worried about his diet failing. I displayed options to him and he never even looked into him till now, but he is worried for me now. That's funny. Yeah, I have a feeling like some of my friends think I'm like having like a schizophrenic breakdown or something. Like, I don't know what's going on in the West, man. It's eating raw meat and shit. Beyond me, the best thing about this diet is discovering it. The worst thing about it is trying to tell other people about it. Nero Machiavelli says, ha ha ha, Haleman, ha ha ha. Yeah. I pretty much already talked about that. And I don't even really feel like talking about that guy. He doesn't deserve our time, man. So, Kurt Godrow, I got a coworker with Crohn's, and I told him about this diet to help him out. He said he researched the carnivore diet. He brought it up to his doctor, and his doctor told him it was a bad idea. You know, it's interesting. There's probably some partial truth to that, because most of the people that are aware of this carnivore diet thing are watching like what Sean Baker's doing. And again, I don't like talking trash on other YouTubers and people that I don't have the ability to talk to face to face. Because I think if you have a problem with somebody, you should talk to them face to face about it. But a lot of times it's hard to do on the internet, you know what I'm saying? So don't get this misconstrued. I would say this shit right to Sean Baker's face. But like he's pushing some bullshit, man. Like just grilling out ribeyes, you know? Only ribeyes. All he's doing is eating ribeyes and ribeyes and ribeyes. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And that's what got me into trouble, just eating all this like raw red meat all the time, like 2 to 3 pounds a day. And I wasn't really feeling optimal on that. And I feel freaking great on this chicken, man. Like, I haven't felt this good after a meal in a long time. So I've been missing out on chicken, partially because of the advice I took from Sean Baker, who is basically like the carnivore king. You know, he's got a huge following, man. So the doctor probably knows about him and sees his diet, you know. But then again, that's a possibility. But the other possibility is he's probably just a brainwashed doctor that is just brainwashed by mainstream medicine and stuff like that. So there's a couple different things going on there. But that's why I don't like these people like Sean Baker that are pushing this like just ribeye diet. You know what I'm saying? Because he's pushing truth and fiction at the same time, and it just confuses the hell out of people, and it makes people be wary of this diet. You know, like my family was real wary of this diet at the beginning too, because I was basically following like the Sean Baker diet. You know what I'm saying? But following Ozgenesis protocols are more closer to the truth. But I would say for the most part, the doctor's probably just his mind is just blocked from understanding the truth from all the books he's been brainwashed to read and stuff like that. Killer Clown, how many carbs should one have to lose weight like animal-based carbs? How many carbs should one have to lose weight like animal-based carbs is honey and milk? I don't know, like maybe less than 50. Maybe less than 50 grams, less than 25 grams. Beef Commando, you have to stop them from using fluoride first, which is fogging their brains. They get them on cooked carnivore and raw dairy to somewhat feed their brains. Only then you can start converting people. Yeah, that's true, man. Yep. Yeah, I quit fluoride for like 2 years before I got on this diet. I think there's really something to that, man. Apotheosis, I think the people that can't digest raw milk have a leaky gut and a compromised microbiome. Lactose is a disaccharide, which requires more processing than monosaccharides, fruit and honey. Huh. That makes the most sense, man. I was thinking leaky gut too. It makes the most sense. Young Master says we'd spit out the waxy part and give it back to the beehive so they reuse it. That's interesting. Put that there. Godis says, what happened with Haleman? Can somebody in the chat say? Well, I've said it earlier. Haleman made a video that was sent to me by someone in the chat here, completely trashing Ozgenesis Wonder Planets and everybody that follows him. Completely freaking trashed him, dude. It was one of the most arrogant, ignorant things I've ever seen on the internet, man. On the level of like Frank Tufano videos. And then now he got sick off of like kidney, raw lamb kidney, and I think raw liver. But he got sick after eating that, and he's blaming it all on carnivore and stuff. It's so weird, dude. I can't watch him anymore, man. Reef Guzzler, I agree 100% Hellman is a lame-o. Don't mean to put anyone down, but I don't understand why people give him the time of day. I've said a long time ago, he's young. He's got a lot of learning to do, man. But I don't like taking shots at other people because it's just distracting, you know what I'm saying? Just as you can see, it's already like distracting chat and stuff, and it's like we're not going to get anywhere talking about it, you know. But you can just point it out, let people know, hey, I would be very skeptical. You know, just the way that he talks about Augenus, and he calls us all Augenus fanboys and shit like that. It's just, it's a level of arrogance that I'm not familiar with, you know. It's up there. Gota says, no wonder lamb is so heavily vaccinated. Grass-fed means nothing. I know people who got food poisoning from lamb hearts. Yeah. Yep. He's a troll. Daniel says, imagine Sean going raw. He already lost his license once. He would now lose it forever. He gets money and publicity from what he does. Yeah, I know. He's paid. And he's scared. He's paid and he's scared. I mean, I don't hate the guy. I don't try not to judge the guy. But let's call a spade, right? I don't respect grown men that are scared of anything, to be honest with you. And I'm not lying about that. You shouldn't be scared of anything. That's for little children. Meep, what do you guys think about coronavirus? Well, they found out that there's like HIV-like things spliced into it, so it was most likely, I'm guessing it was most likely man-made and distributed through a vaccine or something. But it's also possible that what I saw was bullshit and it's just some kind of detoxification from all of the pollution in China and shit. Freya says, honey is so sweet, I had to get a cup of raw milk to go with it, LOL. It's very sweet. Killer Clown, it's easier to find illegal drugs than raw milk where I live in Miami, Florida. It's very sad and pathetic. I'm sure. I'm sure it's really easy to find cocaine down there. French Carnivore Hellman is a good guy, but he's still young. We just can't judge him hard. I just wish him the best, honestly. Hopefully he comes around to Augenus. Yeah, I do too, man. Like I said, him and Tufano. Let's just be glad, guys, that I didn't have a freaking camera when I was in my 20s, because a lot of people would probably hate me too. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I've worked through a lot of my own personality flaws and issues and stuff like that. And thank God there wasn't too many YouTube live streamers when I was in my early 20s and mid 20s. So I would be regretting a lot of shit that I said, you know what I'm saying? Apache says China is burning coal. Yeah, they're breathing coal fumes. Exactly. It's freaking coal. So simple, man. Jim Carp, I wonder if they plan to force vaccinate us sometime in the future with this coronavirus hype. They ain't gonna force vaccinate anybody. Won't happen to me. Yeah, this stuff is really sweet. I think it's my last bite here. Dang, this is good, man. That's all I can handle. French Carnivore, if America started the Augenus diet altogether one day, the system would collapse. Exactly. You can't wake everybody up at once. That's breaking the rules of this dimension. Just think if everybody found out that pasteurized milk and vaccines are making their kids sick. Think about how much backlash there would be against doctors. The whole medical system would collapse. It'd be insane. Animal mother is chronic thirst and mineral deficiency. Maybe you're just dehydrated, but if it's happening a lot, I used to be thirsty quite a bit. It might be. That sounds pretty legit. What's up, Johnny? John says, what's that book you got on top, brother? I haven't read this yet. I guess I could show you guys all the new books I got. I got some reading to do, everybody. This one's called How Nature Cures by Emmett Densmore. And when was it published? Copyright 1892. It's going to be a good one. Vitality, Fasting, and Nutrition, a physiological study of the curative power of fasting, together with a new theory on the relation of food to the human vitality by Hereward Carrington. These are all really old books, man. 1908. And a lot of these were from like the bibliography of Ogenus and stuff. True Science of Living, The New Gospel of Health, Practical and Physiological by Edward Hooker Dewey. This one. No copyright, I guess. It's probably a kind of bootleg book or something. This one I cannot wait to read. Horrors of Vaccination Exposed and Illustrated. Petition to the President to abolish compulsory vaccination in Army and Navy. Copyright 1920. An English sailor loses his arm from cowpox vaccination. Horrible case of cowpox in a woman. Cow suffering from foot and mouth disease caused by vaccination. That's going to be the first one I read. Oh yeah, and my buddy at work gave me this one. Oh, from old Wim Hof. What Doesn't Kill Us. That should be good too. I think that's about it. I got like over 10 books to read here. Dale says, do you eat any fruit? I don't crave fruit in the winter, but in the spring and summer, yes. French Carnival, wow, that vaccine book looks good. Yeah, doesn't it? Nero says you should make a list of all the books you read on Discord or something. I really want to read them. I will, for sure. Yeah, I will. Or I could just email them to you, man. You know? A Life Less Toxic. I would say, I think you can eat it after a week, but it gets a lot better after a month because the bacteria starts changing. So I would wait like a month because it gets really freaking good. Javier Vargas, sup, just got off of work, fasting till Monday, gonna break it with raw ribeye, salmon, and eggs. Yummy. French carnivore, are hard-boiled eggs that bad if they are somewhat runny? Um, for some reason, I don't think hard-boiled eggs are that bad. You know, but I used to eat a lot of hard-boiled eggs. Caleb Wang says I feel less high when I eat carbs. Yeah, I eat when I'm on like zero carb. I definitely have like kind of like a euphoria going on. But I definitely need them though. Like I found that when I wasn't drinking milk in the morning and I was having to like lift heavy stuff, it it was hard for glycogen to get to my muscles and I got like really tired easily. Like just doing any kind of heavy lifting was like tiring my muscles out. So I had to start eating like milk in the mornings, like raw milkshakes, in order to get that glycogen going. Yeah, zero carb raw makes you euphoric. Yeah, it definitely does for sure. But I think you eventually run into issues not drinking raw milk and stuff. You know. I think it's good to kind of bounce back and forth. I used to kind of like running out of milk. Yeah, Patchy nailed it. It's only good for a certain amount of time. It's not good for physical things. Exactly. That's why I say like fasting is not really a good thing to do for nutrition, rather than it's a good thing to do for like your spirit because it lifts your spirit up and you can think a lot better and stuff like that. But like I said, you got to take care of your spirit as well as your body, and sometimes you sacrifice one or the other. You know what I'm saying? But you can do it. I think this diet is a good way to do it. You don't have to sacrifice really either one. If you just kind of do both of them in moderation, you know. Some French carnivore says once you go zero carb for a week, milk tastes so much better. I agree, man. It's yummy. Caleb says I have no loss of stamina on zero carb, to each their own. That's interesting, man. I found it like impossible to get like a good workout in the gym or lift weights or anything without raw milk and eggs. Mad F, I'm skeptical of Wim because he's a vegetarian and I think he does all these stunts to elevate his mind like what a natural raw carnivore diet does. Yeah, I'm skeptical too. I'm skeptical too. Because the guy that gave me this book is the guy that I introduced to this raw carnivore diet. So I think Wim is like a step. I think raw primal is a step above Wim because it doesn't make sense that you'd have to go like freeze yourself in a river and shit. You know what I mean? It sounds kind of stupid. I'm very skeptical too. Young Master says, just like there are seasons in nature, there are seasons for your body and spirit. That's a good point, man. Yeah, everything in life undulates. If you guys notice, if you pay attention to life, everything goes like this. Your life will go, you'll have a good 5 years, and then you'll have somewhat of an okay 5 years, and then you'll have a good 5 years, and then you'll maybe have a bad 5 years. Like, life does that to you, man. Once you realize that, everything kind of is easier to understand. Collapse acidic says Wim Hof method is just hyperventilation. Yeah, it seems a little strange, dude. Horatio Washington sent a super chat. Thank you very much. Thoughts on going to the gym being unhealthy? If you're stressed out and you need to get a little workout in, I would say do it, but don't go too hard and just do something really, really light. You know what I mean? But if you have like anxiety and stuff like that going on, then the gym can be beneficial to some people. But it's probably best to wait till you're strong or at least capable of doing something. I don't know how unhealthy you mean, but I don't really go to the gym much anymore. I think I'm giving up on that. It makes life a lot more simple when you can just get on this diet and just, you feel the euphoria that you got from the gym just naturally every day. You know what I mean? So, Daniel says Wim Hof is New Ager. Sounds like it. French carnivore milk is a staple. It keeps your weight up. It combines protein, carb, and fat, which is good for famine. Yes. Abraham, eggs have carbs. I think they have like small amounts of carbs. Yeah. I was gonna say 1 gram. Martin O'Donnell says carbs don't cause me much trouble, but I crashed so hard when I ate a large pancake with maple syrup. I was stuck on my couch for like 2 hours, I bet. It's crazy how bad it gets on this diet. Like, your body becomes super sensitive. Like, I ate one piece of cured bacon the other day, and I was burping for like 6 straight hours. It's freaking crazy. Thanks for the sub, Peter. Bradley David Good. A friend's uncle came over a month ago and taught us this Wim Hof breathing. I felt it was way too unnatural and is probably producing an emergency body reaction like adrenaline. Yeah. Like, I don't really think even like cold showers is a good idea. So I don't wonder how this Wim Hof thing. Yeah, it's just like it has to be like just adrenaline. There's probably something more to it too. I know old Rhonda Patrick talks about, heat, cold shock proteins and stuff like that. Heat shock proteins, cold shock proteins. Maybe something. There's obviously probably a lot of other things going on because we can't possibly know all the bodily processes, But I don't know where in nature you would find yourself dunking yourself in an icy river all the time and stuff. Rather David Good, Wim Hof, plus part of the breathing is tightening and loosening your bunghole. And the uncle was constipated for a week and complaining greatly about it. Coincidence? That's funny, dude. Froy says, I grew up with raw milk and honey, and my grandparents used to give us a cup of raw milk and 1 tablespoon of honey for bedtime. Oh, that's awesome. Good grandparents. Lucky you. Hero Damon, I was doing only raw meat, milk, and pasteurized butter until my body stopped processing the meat. Eggs are the key to this diet, I think. From now on, you guys can also refer to me as the egg man. That's funny. Yeah. I am 100% with you on the eggs, man. The more I get into this stuff, the more I realize that eggs are freaking awesome. Screen chat is stuck. Oh, thank you. You're right. Appreciate that. Let's see if I can fix her here. Horatio Washington sent in the super chat. Thanks, man. Thoughts on demonic possession and other religions? That's definitely, demonic possession is super legit, for sure. Like, look at like a drug addict, like a possessed drug addict. It looks like a demonic possession, and I believe that humans are subjected to forces of either good or evil. I think that there's forces that exist in this universe that were here way before we were. And I think that we're subjected to that stuff. So I believe that spirits can make a home inside of your body, and there's a lot of evidence that points towards that. Like, look at the fact that they call alcohol spirits. You know what I mean? And then you see people that everybody knows somebody that's drank too much alcohol and is turned into a totally different, just almost like a demon. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. And I could just go into a million different examples, but I 100% believe in demonic possession. I believe that we're all subjected to various types of entities. There's way more entities than just like good and evil. There's like playful entities, there's like jokester entities, there's all different types of entities in this world. We live in a spiritual realm. This is 100% a spiritual realm. So once you realize that, it just becomes pretty clear. And other religions, I believe every religion is worshiping the same God. So I don't like to, I guess for lack of a better term, demonize other religions, because I believe that we're worshiping the same person. It's just been corrupted through structured religion, because humans have been in charge of religion for a while, and they've just corrupted it and turned it into something that it was not supposed to be, when it's really just all about just praising God, the creator, and thanking him for your food, thanking him for your wife, thanking him for your children. It's that simple, man. Take care of your neighbor. You know, all this other stuff that's involved in it is it's all man-made. Trying to refresh the chat box. Sorry, guys. Daniel says, if Augemus was alive, what would you ask him? Oh, man. That's a good question, dude. I've thought about this before, too. If he was alive, what would you ask him? There was a couple questions that I had the other day. What was it? Oh yeah, I'd probably ask him about mushrooms, about psilocybin mushrooms. I would ask him what he thinks is happening to the brain when people are under the influence of psilocybin. Because like psilocybin is just like one of the most fascinating things that I've ever encountered in this world, and it's just so incredibly interesting to me that I would just wonder what he would say about what's going on in the brain, if it's some sort of like detoxification or something like that, or if it's actually like hyper connecting your neural pathways, or I don't, that would be one question that I had for him. I would probably ask him some more questions about cannabis, because I've only heard him talk about eating raw flour with a piece of raw cheese if you choose to use cannabis as a medicine or whatever. I would probably ask him some more questions about cannabis. I don't know. He's pretty much covered a lot of this stuff. I would probably I would ask him how he knew the plague was caused by burning coal. And I would also ask him a bunch of questions about fasting too. Caleb Huang, demons want to inhabit a physical body to fulfill bodily pleasures because they lack a physical body. Oh, that is deep, dude. That almost gave me like chills, man. Wow. That's pretty profound. That that rings very true to me, man. Bradley David, good. We don't need chat on the video. We have it on the side. Yeah, that's true. But there's some people you gotta kind of hold their hand through this stuff, and they don't know how to watch the live chats and stuff like that. So it's easier to have it on the screen. And also, every once in a while, I go through and I dump all these videos onto BitChute. So this is for people that are on like BitChute too, Nero says, you make me want to try mushrooms. Man, you already know how I feel about those things. Pretty, pretty crazy. I shouldn't say crazy. They're just extremely interesting, man. Extremely interesting. French carnivore. Doing magic mushrooms made me go from blurry vision past 10 feet to 20/20 clearest vision of my life. It lasted for around a week after the trip, then it got worse again. Yeah, I've had that exact same experience, man. The next day, my vision was like super vivid. Froya, your health is more important than anything in the world. Hero, damn it, I actually took like 16 grams once on a hero dose of shrooms and asked the mushroom what it is. Told me it comes from outer space and it's everywhere. Mushrooms been here before us, hence they conscious. Fucking mushrooms are mind-blowing, dude. Frickin' mind-blowing. Bob Vine says blurry vision is a fungus disease. Interesting. CeeLo, hey, you still not using salt? I started adding a little bit in because I was getting some leg cramps. So anytime that happens, I will add some in so it helps out my legs. And it seems to work, but it happens in the middle of the winter time. So I don't know if that's dehydration or if it's from lack of salt or what's going on there. But I started adding a little bit of real salt to my meals, and it seemed to fix it, man. So, but I'll probably go back off salt here very soon. And just, I'll use it as needed, you know what I mean? If I start to get any kind of calf cramps or anything like that again, then I'll do that. French carnivore, I saw an article saying psilocybin helps regrow brain cells. I think it would make sense to combine the mushrooms with raw brain to really rebuild it. I know. I never thought about that. Mushrooms with raw brain. Holy shit. Yeah, see, that's why I wanted to ask Augenus about psilocybin, because stuff like that. That's insanely interesting, dude. Froya sent a generous super chat. Thank you so much. I learned something new every time you live stream, so I thank you for that. Have a good evening. All right, that's very nice of you to say, and you have a good evening as well. See you next time. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow. Caleb Hoang, supposedly lion's mane mushrooms will rebuild brain cells. Yeah, I've heard that. I've actually grown lion's mane before in these bags. I was eating it raw. Actually, when I first started this diet, I was eating a little bit of lion's mane. Ibrahim, I'm still living with my parents at 19. I buy meat sometimes and eat it, but my family freaks out. They also buy junk food and whole food plants. I know that it's unhealthy, but I crave it so much. Help. You gotta move out, dude. You're 19. You gotta get out of there, dude. You gotta get out. If you're 18, you should be out of your parents' house. So get a job, save up for a small apartment, a small one-bedroom apartment, and just get out of there, dude. Nero Machiavelli, can you listen to music while doing mushrooms? I'd love to do it while bumping some Tool. Oh, dude. Yeah, definitely. Of course. Dude, I saw music on mushrooms. It was projected on a grid in front of me, and it was moving in real time with the sound. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. But it was like projected out from my speakers. Yeah, music can be pretty cool. But eventually, if it gets too heavy, you want to like turn everything off and just like turn your lights off and get a blanket and just like chill out, you know? Young Master, I've had bad eyesight pretty much most of my life that I can remember. Raw Primal has sort of improved it. Yeah, try raw egg white. That's something that I always hear. Raw egg white rubbed into your eyes helps your eyesight. French carnivore, wow, I'm getting excited. I want to do shrooms again now. It's been years. I know. I get a little antsy too talking about it. And I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about the stuff on live streams because I know that anybody and everybody can watch these, and a lot of people have a lot of preconceived notions about psychedelics and mushrooms and stuff like that. But let me be clear about this, guys. Mushrooms are like very different than all the other psychedelics. They're like very natural. They're very much not harmful. They've been tested. It's like impossible to have sustain any kind of damage on them. If there was any kind of damage that you could be doing from shrooms, trust me, I would have it. I would definitely have it. So, you know, but they're not for everybody, man. They're not for everybody. I think it's really something that you stumble across in your life journey. You pick them up, you try them out. You know, I think God chooses certain people to use them. Certain people probably shouldn't. Daniel, I got depersonalization, anxiety, HPPD, visual snow. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Tinnitus, all after consuming mushrooms, still recovering. Haleman had the same experience. That's how we met. That's what I'm talking about, guys. That's why you got to be careful about just like blindly promoting psychedelics to people because they're not for everybody. So you'll know if they're for you. You know, if they're not for you, they're not for you. Bradley David Good sent $5. Thanks, man. CeeLo says, hey, using no salt, I have zero libido. That's why I asked, LOL. Interesting. Huh. I don't know if there's a connection there or not. Maybe. Why don't you try adding it in and see if it changes? I will say, dude, that my libido actually went up by cutting down my red meat from 2 pounds to 1 pound a day. So you might be eating too much red meat or something. Maybe look at that too. A life less toxic. Anyone have thoughts on Lyme disease? Since we want and love all our bacteria, parasites, and fungus, I always thought Lyme was a man-made bacteria. I would ask Augenus about this. Yeah, that too, huh? That's a good question. A lot of people think Lyme was man-made, definitely. Nero, how about, I assume you mean taking mushrooms in the forest or at the beach. That would be freaking awesome. But just don't take too many. I wouldn't take too many if you were like out in nature in the public like that. But yeah, outside is like ideal for sure. Just make sure you're in like a familiar environment and you're like, you know, not in a dangerous place. Reef Guzzler, I went down the lion's mane or mushroom rabbit hole for a while myself. Seems like I benefited in the beginning, but stopped noticing after a couple weeks of consuming. Yeah, I think I felt like the same thing happened. Hero Damon, I've seen the Tool art on mushrooms while listening to Tool. Crazy what Tool and music do. Oh man. Also, they make me good at playing music as well. They channel the music. Dude, we have way too much in common, man. I've had pretty intense revelations about Tool on mushrooms, just out of nowhere. And I've seen, yeah, I saw the Tool art too, exactly. Like the Tool DVDs, where they have like those little like reptilian aqua looking things. I've seen that. And also like the Tool videos, where there's like a, it's like a sculpture, but it's like tree branches and it's all like flowing outward like that. It's like a bunch of tree branches like flowing outward. I've seen that shit. So yeah, you can guarantee that Tool has gone on some like deep trips for sure. But it's really just bizarre how everybody kind of sees the same shit, you know? Makes you wonder what it is. Beyond Me says my cousin takes mushrooms for cluster headaches. It's the only thing that helps him. Cluster headaches cause the worst pain, man. Kind knows. I've heard that. Matt F says, I think the growing conditions for the mushrooms play a huge factor. I've done morning glory seeds and never did mushrooms because I would want to grow my own. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. You got to grow your own. But I was thinking that diet has the most impact on most psychedelic experiences. Think about that. What you ate for dinner, like before you, whatever you dosed, that would be crazy. Martin O'Donnell says, will you ever do mushrooms or psychedelics again? Not psychedelics, but mushrooms, maybe. I might have one more in me, maybe. But we'll see. It really takes a special time and a special moment. You know, you got to have like a bunch of free time to yourself. You got to be in a really good place in your life. You know, I was in an extremely good place in my life. Like, I had a lot of really good things going for me at the time, and I had a lot of time off of work. So I just took a bunch of time off, and I had no girlfriend, no wife, no dogs, no family, no nothing. It was just me, you know what I mean? And that was like the best way for me to do it, was just all by myself, and just, you know, so you got to have like these things set in place before you can do it. And that's why a lot of people don't mess around with it, because, you know, they got to go to work the next day, or they got kids running around the house, you know, whatever, just a bunch of distractions going on. But if you can find a place of solitude to do it, and you have like a bunch of time off of work, it's definitely doable. Hero says, once you do enough mushrooms, you won't feel like ever doing them again. Same with very high doses of any other psychedelic. Hang up the phone once you get the signal. It's showing you what's inside you. Yeah, basically. Yeah. I've done some insane doses before, and that's why I haven't done them since, because I just, you know, there's not enough time to talk about what I experienced, man. It was unbelievable. Daniel says, I don't blame mushrooms. I did it irresponsibly, trying to save my mental health. They gave me a lot of great experiences. Later, I abused other drugs too. Mushrooms just triggered panic. Yeah. Yeah, if you're doing them to try to save your mental health, I can totally see why it messed you up, dude. Totally. Like, I was like at one of like the peak moments of my life when I did it. So it's just, nothing could go wrong. You know what I mean? Never had anything negative happen in any of them. French Carnivore, if you're happy and have peace in life, then shrooms are wonderful. You get to experience real magic. It makes you closer to Christ. It definitely can. Definitely can. Caleb says, I did shrooms at the mall once. That was intense. Holy crap, the mall? That sounds really intense. I've heard a couple people that have done them at like festivals, and I knew one guy that did like way too many, riding in the back seat of a car. Can you imagine that one? Daniel says, Pink Floyd also has great synergy with mushrooms, man. I never thought about that. Hero says, I posted some of the art I drew on my Instagram page. Nice. That'd be cool to see. French Carnivore, have you ever been on mushrooms and when you close your eyes, you see another pair of eyes staring at you? For me, it was profound, like I was seeing God and wasn't alone. No, I've never had that specifically happen, but I've looked out in space and I saw a gigantic eyeball watching me. That was one of the first things I ever saw on a heavy trip of mushrooms. It was, it's clear as day, way out there in the blackness, a freaking huge eye looking at me, dude. What the fuck is that, you know? Dale says, I can hardly have coffee without feeling funny, let alone mushrooms. Yeah. Like I said, they're not really for everybody. I really think that God chooses certain people to do certain things at certain times. And just, I have to get on the internet to talk to people about this stuff, because I don't know anybody in my personal life. I've met hundreds of people, maybe 1,000 people in my life, and I've never known anybody that's taken as many mushrooms as I have and seen all of the shit that I've seen. It's like, I just don't talk about it, you know what I mean? Young Master says, what do you suggest should be the first dose for a mushroom trip? Like 1 gram. Just take 1 gram and see how you do on 1 gram, and then up it from there. Just, that's what I did. I just slowly upped it from there. I went from like 1, then I did the standard 3.5 grams, and then I went up to 5 grams, and then I went to 7, then I went to 8, and the last time I did 8, um, I'm good for a while after that one. That was pretty heavy. Reef Guzzler, if I have problems in my life I can't figure out, it seems like mushrooms help show me what I need to do. I mean, that's what the natives would use them for. Yeah, it really does. It showed me a lot of things. Caleb says, I've never taken drugs seriously. I used to take high doses to test my mental strength. I felt like demons were trying to take over. Yeah, see, I never had that experience on psychedelics or mushrooms at all. It was always extremely positive. In fact, I felt like it was God, like I was in the presence of God, and I was getting logos channeled to me. So, and I actually did like automatic writing. So, I was I don't know if you guys know what logos is, but it's like basically the stuff that inspired like the writings of the Bible, and I was getting that shit like channeled to me spontaneously, and I was writing it down. It was really freaky, man, and I still got it written down somewhere. Beyond Me, was it like the eye on the dollar bill? Yes, it was. French Carnivore, best band for shrooms by far is Slow Drive. Best band maybe ever too. The best music I ever heard on mushrooms was Polish Ambassador. That shit was freaking awesome on mushrooms, dude. Horatio Washington, thoughts on white guilt? It's terrible, man. It's terrible. The straight white Christian man. It's the most hated man in America today. It sucks. They make you feel guilty just for being a good guy, you know? But whatever. I mean, as long as you can see past it, you don't have to feel guilty about it, you know? But it's all inversion, you know what I mean? Because like most of the white people I know are just great people, you know what I mean? So when you hear about like people talking trash on white people and how we're responsible for all this shit and responsible for everybody's problems, it doesn't make sense, because it's like we're also responsible for like most of the good shit too. So it doesn't make sense to talk about the bad stuff, you know? Dale says, how long did it take for you to give up beer? I never was a huge drinker, man. So I was honestly like, I was more of a cannabis user. So it took me a little while to give up cannabis, definitely. But I finally was able to kick that. Caleb Hang, were you writing in tongues? Haha. No, see, tongues is like, you know, that garbled shit. I was actually writing like a legit, rational thoughts, you know? Like take care of your family, love your friends, like all of this like stuff. It just came out of nowhere. Yeah, Daniel says, what did you write it while channeling? Yeah, it was just stuff like that, like probably stuff that I needed to do in my life, you know what I mean? But it was becoming like channeled to me, like yeah, just stuff like love your family, love your friends, and I can't remember all of it. I have to go back and look at, man. Stuff like that though. Martin says, I want to see what you wrote. I'll have to dig it out, man. I got some drawings, too, of some stuff that I saw. I could show you guys. We gotta do a mushroom stream. Horatio says, have you watched the movie They Live? I think it is real. The glasses people put on may be real, but where to find them? I think I've heard of that. Martin says, if it's gibberish, you were demonically possessed. Yeah, see, it wasn't gibberish, man. It was definitely not gibberish. It was like legit stuff that you would read like in the Bible, like wisdom. It was like intense wisdom getting like channeled to me, and I was just writing it down, and I couldn't stop writing it. I was just like, holy shit, it wasn't like my arm was moving and I couldn't hold it, but I was just writing all this shit. It was really, 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 really intense wisdom, and it was like almost like straight out of the Bible type stuff. So for a long time after that, I thought that the people that wrote the Bible were on mushrooms. But I think I'm about to wrap up the stream here, guys. We're about 3 hours, and I got some stuff to take care of here tonight still yet, so I could talk about mushies forever. They're fun. Yeah, French carnivore says people are saying Moses was high on hallucinogenic drugs when he received the commandments. It makes sense to me personally. It kind of does, right? Once you experience it, you're like, man, I think those guys might have been snacking on some mushrooms, maybe. Someone mentioned Jesus was a mushroom. I've also heard that theory. It's very interesting. I think there's a book called The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross that talks about that. It's a very, very controversial banned book. But yeah, all right, guys. This has been another good one. I'm going to try to do another one tomorrow, so probably do some more raw chicken. So I appreciate all the super chats. You guys are very generous. And everybody take it easy. God bless. Have a good night.